All right, everybody, welcome back to our latest session of Candlekeep Mysteries. So we're picking up where we left off last week. We'll do our quick recap as usual and then jump right into the action. So last week we started off with the group being out at what has been dubbed the Pirate Cove after the harsh encounters there with some dragonborn assailants and slavers, you might call them, as they were trying to collect some different laborers and such to do what exactly is hard to say. After the group had an opportunity to ransack the boat, spoke with Tristram, and agreed to hand the boat and the laborers over to Tristram, they decided to use first actually head back and bury some bodies. They weren't sure if it was 5 or 30, but we realized it was eventually 5. And we got those bodies buried. There was some Speak with Dead cast to try to learn a bit more information. And it turned out that these characters, obviously they each had their kind of own thing going on. So they learned some information about the whereabouts of these NPCs. And after that was done, Frederick cast a teleportation circle, and the whole group hopped in and found themselves back in Baldur's Gate. The teleportation circle that Frederick knows is tied to the House of High Wonders, or High House of Wonders, and that is where the group suddenly appeared. And inside the House of High Wonders, the High House of Wonders, they suddenly realized that they were being confronted by some of the priests and the attendants there. It seemed as though, after speaking with them briefly, particularly sort of a leader named Hallex, there was this issue where some assailants, or infiltrators is the term he used, had actually come into the High House of Wonders and destroyed a very important creation, an invention from the High Artificer himself. It seemed after they looked into this, tried to kind of do a little bit of investigation in the High House of Wonders here, they were able to determine that the assailants, the infiltrators, came through the teleportation circle. So naturally they were very concerned about others coming through that teleportation circle, thinking maybe there was a follow-up to the initial infiltration or some other type of disturbance. Once the conversation with Hallex was done so successfully, and he was convinced that the player characters were not involved with the infiltration team, he was happy to allow them to move on, sort of not be as strict and formal, and it seemed as though he was prepared perhaps to have the group arrested or at least detained until further measures could be made to determine what exactly was going on. Luckily, the group avoided that fate and was able to talk their way through. Once they were then filled in on all of the details about what exactly had occurred here, Hallex, in consultation with them, I think it may have been Frederick at the time who sort of suggested that perhaps the group could help, and Hallex then provided us some additional details and said that some of the infiltrators were actually captured and were being kept in the dungeons in the Sewer Keep. And this information would be helpful if the group wanted to head there and try to interrogate them, as there was some mention that the greatest interrogator ever was in this group. Also the greatest artificer ever. We got a lot of greatest evers in this group, guys. But that information was passed by to the group. And in particular, what was most interesting was there was a note that Alan, who is the proprietor of the Elfsong Tavern, and who several members of the group have met before and interacted with, the Hallex indicated that Alan was actually part of this infiltration squad. This seemed to shock many of the team members who were already familiar with him, and they decided maybe this is why they want to get involved a bit more. So after they exited the High House of Wonders, they decided to kind of search around with a mind towards shopping. So we had that shopping episode sort of flashing on the screen there as we went in and did some purchasing, bought some interesting, I would say mostly spell components or spell component adjacent type things. And the group spent a bit of time heading to the bank, the counting house, creating a joint account for the group, putting on an interesting name for the account, and sort of just getting the lay of the land here in Baldur's Gate. Noticing some interesting changes since they were last here, but overall the city is as it always is. With these activities complete, the group then decided to make their way over to the Sea Tower of Baldurin, which, in speaking with Hallex, they were told that Alder Ravengard is here in Baldur's Gate. He is the leader of the Flaming Fists, or the highest ranking member of the Flaming Fists, in charge of Baldur's Gate security, you might think of it as. And it would be his permission that would need to be acquired in order for the group to be able to get access to the Sewer Keep dungeons and then speak to those individuals that were rounded up as part of the interrogation group, or the infiltration group, I should say. So the group made their way through, again, spotting some interesting different things, seeing some hawkers, people on the sides of corners and in alleyways shouting out prices for different things. I believe Lexi may have even purchased some odds and ends during this process. Group then headed towards this long, think of it almost as like a dock, but it's more, think of it as a long bridge, I suppose, is most appropriate, that extends out from the mainland here out to where the Sea Tower of Baldurin is. While approaching and keeping their eyes on the Sea Tower of Baldurin, they're able to see this is a very defensive structure. It's got towers, the walls are quite high, and in fact there was a large chain hung on one side of it, and the indication there, inference, I should say, was that they realized that this chain could actually be taken all the way across to the other side of the harbor, which in a naval combat situation, they could actually block off the ability for attacking ships to get right into the heart of the city. So this, with this in mind, they continued on their way, discussing some odds and ends activities as they were getting closer. But while on this causeway, there was some folks coming the opposite direction, and it seemed as though they were haulers. They had some different things in hand, and they overheard this snippet of conversation of one of them saying, oh no, be careful with that, as something suddenly drops out of one of these haulers' hands, smashes on the ground, and creates a sticky purplish mess, which quickly spread and sort of smoky and hard to see much what is going on in this exact instant. And that is where we went ahead and paused our session last time. And we will pick up right there today, of course. So group, anything I missed there in the recap that anybody would like to add?
I don't think it's too much of import or inspiration worthy, but Cedric did encounter that fishmonger and cut off that fishtail, so he's gathering his spell components that he needs.
Yes,
So
actually, in fact, that's a good point, because we actually had Frederick swap out for Cedric, so that was actually a pretty important piece. So yeah, Frederick had mentioned to the group that he had some endeavors or some guild business that he had to take care of, but his friend Cedric was in the area, or maybe it's employee or associate, or we're still learning about that relationship, and he would be on hand to assist the group in Frederick's absence. So as Frederick departed, Cedric actually met the group once they exited the counting house, and he joined up with them then. They had some interesting questions for him. It was good to see that level of detail pass between Cedric and the group, and we'll see how well of a fit he is with the group. So yeah, good addition there. Anybody else have anything they'd like to add to our recap?
Lexi tried to score some skooma, but it was unsuccessful.
Yes, that you can take inspiration for. Yeah, so indeed, Lexi was looking around particularly for some illicit substances, but unfortunately, due to her, we'll say, lack of persuasive skills, or maybe she's just too terrified and nobody wants to open up and let her know what's the deal, but she was unable to locate any kind of source of a supply. All right, if there is nothing else, then as usual, we'll go ahead and award inspiration to both Brandel and Lexi, who already got it, but nonetheless, thanks to another entry in Brandel's journal. Longest corresponding document in a campaign, I think. That's got to get an award right there. All right, and guys, we will pick up right where we left off. So as that container shatters on the ground, and you notice those two individuals, as it breaks, they try to like scatter quickly. You kind of lose sight of them fairly easily as they're moving through this like purplish mist. As this mist begins to subside, you find yourself in a very dangerous predicament. And with that, we're going to jump right over to this map. All right, so what I've got set up here for you guys is a little area of the causeway. You can see where that purplish mess is right in the middle. I don't want to presume you guys are walking exactly in a single file line like this, so feel free to take this opportunity to put your token where you think makes sense for you, knowing that you guys are heading from the west to the east to go to the Sea Tower of Balduran.
I believe we are still locked at him, but yes.
All right, there you go, unlocked.
Someone may have synaptic staticked me earlier.
Oh, that might have been what happened to my hit points.
Nice. I was like, I'm not following, but I get it now. Okay, yeah, nice. Okay, so it looks to me like Lexi was out front and you guys were talking from quite a distance back. Shot, yeah, good idea, Lexi. But is everybody happy with where they are right now? I'll give you guys about 5 seconds and then I will lock the tokens.
Can I get out of the purple stuff?
You can move anywhere you like that's currently visible to you. And I would suggest not into the water because that probably wouldn't make too much sense. But
I feel like Ranvon gets hit by the purple stuff.
all right, fair enough. So I will go ahead and lock our tokens there, and I will remove this barrier. All right, so what you guys notice is as this purplish energy sort of hits the ground, stains the causeway, this purplish smoke swirls around. It's a very strange sensation, almost like things are moving all around you in a moment. Once this clears, just for a moment, you can see several figures suddenly nearby the causeway. In particular, you notice to your west, a very large looking and strange greenish snake-like creature here. Looking over to it, it's hard to make out too much details in this sort of snap second, but I do want to give you guys an opportunity to take a peek at sort of what each of these things are real briefly before we roll initiative. So that one, and then off to your east, you notice a creature that looks to be made maybe fully or partially of ice. You can think of it almost as like a humanoid shape, large humanoid shape carved out of ice. Also over to the east, you can see those of you that are familiar with water elementals probably would think at first spot that this is indeed a water elemental, but you can't help but notice this fiery, steaming claws near the hands as though the water is superheated as it moves more towards your direction. And last but certainly not least, out flying over the water, in fact, is a large humanoid looking, you probably most likely would compare this to maybe a cloud giant, perhaps, for those of you that are somewhat familiar with cloud giants, but it is all one color. As you can see, it's kind of this teal color with this whitish beard. As it is sort of flying over in this area, you also can feel a tremendous force of wind and air that is surging all around you right now, as though you were in the center of maybe a minor hurricane, perhaps. And with that, I will go ahead and roll us initiative. Okay, top of the order and is Brandel. So Brandel, it is your turn as you find all this chaos all around you.
Adam, can you hit us with some royalty-free battle music?
You got it, coming up.
Well, if you read his journal, Brandel is not surprised at the ungraciousness of the city and puts his purchases away and quickly casts mage armor on himself as an action. And he's going to move. He's going to move 5. Oh, unlock.
Oh, yep, that would probably help. There you go.
All right, 5, 10. $15, half his movement. Telekinetic shove on this beast. Try to get him 5 feet back. Back!
All right, you thrust out mentally, trying to push him back. And here comes a save. And remind me, DC 17?
Yep.
Yes, he will push back 5 feet.
Finish my movement. 5, 10, 15. Action, movement, bonus action, and my turn.
All right, next up we see this watery-looking creature, and as you get a little bit better of a look now as it's starting to move closer to you, it appears almost like a pillar of water rises up into a humanoid shape with steam trailing from its boiling form. You notice it begins to sort of just move right across this causeway area here. And next up we have Cedric.
Cedric kind of pulls his arm down from his face, seeing everything going on, and he is going to look over his shoulder real quick, and he's going to hold up a finger. And as he does, you see this kind of quick. It looks like a wisp of spirit energy, but it takes the form of a hawk, and he points towards the snake creature behind him, and he's going to cast Hunter's Mark on that creature.
All right, you mark the creature.
Okay. All right, and he is going to move back this way. And as he does, he draws his bow off of his back, and he's going to turn towards that large snake creature. And you watch as he draws an arrow back, and it kind of meets with right under his eye line, and he fires off a shot.
All right, that sound of wind raging in your ears, swirling all around as you're at this hurricane-type Air Force. You shoot, realizing it's quite difficult to do so, and this first attack will be a fumble. Go ahead and roll fumble. All right, quite embarrassed, but no additional effects.
It's kind of perfect, because my embarrassment will turn into this. He pulls another arrow real quick as he sees that it's kind of flying off course, and he's going to adjust his aim, take another shot.
All right, this one will fly true and strike into the creature.
And then it rolled Hunter's Mark damage up top. Do you want to just keep that, Adam, or do you want me to roll again?
Yes, I will take that one.
Okay. And he's going to, now that he's locked in, he's going to take another breath, pull another arrow really quickly, and take his final attack.
Yes, this one connects as well.
And on that one, he's going to pump in his Dread Ambusher, which is an additional 1d8 damage.
Okay, indeed.
And he's going to shout into the wind, "I'll take the snake!"
All right, out over that water, you see this flying, stormy type humanoid, giant type creature moves closer. As he does so, you can feel that rage of the wind all around you getting louder. As he gets up to here, you're going to see, as he's looking down towards you, Leo, he actually pulls a fist back and flashes it towards you, trying to smack into you. That'll be an 18 to hit Leo, which looks like it connects.
I will shield.
But recall, shield has to be declared before, so unfortunately that will still connect. So for any attacks, if you're going to shield, recommend you get yourself like a macro that says like shield of hit, right? That way you won't be able to see the total and know if a shield is going to protect you or not.
I guess I forgot that we were.
Yep.
Their rolls were blind.
Yep, no worries. So that one will connect, but a second attack's coming your way. Would you like to shield of hit that one?
Yeah.
All right, so you will shield if this one happens to hit you. Here comes a second attack. 15 will not connect, so that means you do not have to burn that shield slot. So after he comes in, smacks you pretty hard, he is then going to move a bit back out over the water. And we then move to Ranvan.
Okay.
How much did he hit me for?
Posted right there, 35 bludgeoning damage.
I do not see it.
Oh, my bad. You know what? Let me turn that. Yeah, okay, my bad. I'll make sure that is visible to you next time, but it is 35.
Okay.
Okay, I'm using Embodiment of the Law to cast Bless as a bonus action, targeting Lexi, Leopold, and Dell.
All right, each of you guys just selected. Go ahead and mark yourself with Bless and on your sheet.
He will move 15 feet. Is the goop difficult terrain?
No, it is kind of just like a stain on the causeway.
Okay, I will move here. I'll measure one more time, and then I will cast Sacred Flame on the guy over the water.
All right, Sacred Flame on him. Yes, this will actually be a critical, so go ahead and roll a Radiant critical. Okay, twice as much damage, so go ahead and throw me another set of 3d8, and we will take all of that.
Do I also include the Blessed Strikes modifier?
Let me think. Yeah, it's a die roll, so yeah,
I'm just going to click the skill again then.
that works. All right, as you conjure up this sacred flame and this large chunk of radiant energy cascades down upon him, he is not prepared for it and is indeed struck.
That is my turn.
Okay, next up is Leopold.
We're going to capitalize on what Rianron started. This is a disadvantaged ranged attack right now.
Yes, you're in this swirling wind, and it is very difficult to aim properly. Yes, it is at disadvantage.
All right. We're going to try a non-sharpshooter for these, going after our Stormy Giant.
The first attack will miss.
Hey, second one.
This one will manage to connect as you count on that wind and sort of accommodate for it, and it flashes through and strikes him.
I'm going to move. Wait. It's here. That'll be it for Leo. Silver. Let's see how's this going to go. Yeah. Silver is... Hold on. Yeah, that's... Most of those are not optimal. Silver. Silver's just going to go here, and she's going to ready an attack action for any of these monsters getting within her range. And that, I think, is everything.
Okay, next up is Lexi.
Lexi's gonna look down at the purple goo, look up at the snake and the Poseidon and the ice rock and this little wavy red-handed dude, and she's just gonna get pissed. She's gonna rage.
Nice, and which weapon would you like to select for that effect?
My lovely battle axe, of course.
Okay, so it is now deals force damage instead of slashing, and if you wanted to, you could throw it.
Not seeing the boon that she's gotten from her wild surge, she's gonna throw it at this guy.
All right, yes, you throw your the Fate Crescent over towards him through these very terrible winds. Go ahead and make your attack. Yes, this will indeed manage to connect against him, hitting into him for some damage, at which point you notice the Fate Crescent falls down below into the water.
And then it's gonna then she's going to.
Leo yells, "Did you throw my axe away?"
I don't know. Something came over me. And then she'll hurl a. Oh wait, that's it. She'll end her turn, and hopefully the Fate Crescent will reappear back.
It does indeed, much like you were expecting it to. Suddenly it just rematerializes in your hands, Lexi. Alright, slithering off from the west side is this large greenish creature. As it moves quickly along the causeway, you can see this enormous viper formed of green liquid curls upward, its dripping fangs ready to strike. And as you are there, Brandel, it attempts to strike you. Alright, good deal. So if this should happen to hit, it will count as a shield. Okay, so 20 will indeed hit you, so you then shield that. Go ahead and burn that slot. Your AC is now 24, so that attack will miss. Here comes a second attack. And that will also miss. Next up is Dell.
Alright, Dell will move up and make 2 attacks with the Staff of Striking.
Yes, first attack connects.
If I hit, I think I will burn a charge or 2 of the staff.
Yep, yeah, that definitely hit.
Second attack.
That hits as well. Alright, you smash out solidly with the Staff of Striking, wounding this Emerald Viper. You can see it recoils from your strike.
And then I will drop my spiritual weapon to strike at the snake again.
This one, unfortunately, does not connect.
And I'll pull that out and drop it on the map.
Alrighty, sounds good. As we move over to this next creature, looking over towards him, you can see a humanoid-shaped block of ice lumbers forward on angular legs. As it pounds forward, getting closer and closer to Silver, you notice it suddenly reels back as it slashes out with an icy claw. Silver's AC, I believe, is higher than 12, so that will be a miss.
She get her strike.
I'm sorry, what was that?
She was holding her attack also. Oh, is there a second attack coming in?
Yes, yep, second attack was just posted, which will hit. But yes, if you had her ready in action to attack an enemy when they got close, you can certainly take that. That will connect. And you can feel free to put Silver to public posting as well when you get a chance.
Oh, yep.
All right, so after this blocky creature hits out and then Silver attacks him and hits, you're going to notice that some of the ice structure of his body actually breaks and shards off, like flying off of him, which hits Silver back for 6 points of piercing damage. And we move to the top of the round with Brandel.
Snakes. I hate snakes. And he's going to try a bonus action first. Telekinetic shove to get him pushed towards that spiritual weapon a little bit. Away from me, please.
All right, you thrust out with this attack, and yes, this will work as the snake is pushed backwards.
Excellent. Ugh. I will move. Let me think first. Yep, that's fine. So I'll go 5, 10, 15, 20 to there. And then as an action, that's my movement 20. My action is, you can kind of predict this, but I'm going with what I got. And this little cloud giant guy, I just rub my temples again and get it all warmed up. And I try to fire a psychic lance at the guy. And I'm going to portent this with that. I remember this when I was restlessly trying to sleep at the inn. It's that premonition.
All right, yes, that will certainly take effect then. Go ahead and post your psychic lance. All right, so this hits out and wounds him.
And that's it.
Okay, next up is this guy who's going to get a bit closer. And once he does, getting in line here with Silver, he is going to slam out towards her. Silver will get smacked hard for 17 bludgeoning and 10 fire. I always ask this question over and over, Leo. Is she resistant to fire?
You would think, but no.
All right, so that hits her pretty hard as he then follows up with a second attack, which will also connect for another 15 points of damage.
She's down.
She's down, okay. So as she drops, we move to Cedric's turn.
Okay, Cedric seeing Brandal come up behind him. He's going to kind of position himself in between Brandal and the Viper here. And he's going to take his first shot at the Viper again.
All right, still affected by these high winds. So that will be a hit.
Okay, here's Hunter's Mark.
That's a crit, right?
So there's currently high winds everywhere,
Oh.
so ranged attacks are at disadvantage.
Oh, gotcha. I missed that. Thanks.
Yep, no worries. So that arrow will indeed connect into the Viper, wounding. It is looking very badly hurt at this point.
I'm going to take that spell slot back for Hunter's Mark since I'm still concentrating at him.
Okay, yep.
And I will take my next shot at the same creature.
Yes, this will connect as well.
And I believe it takes Hunter's Mark damage as well. Do you want me to roll it again or just take the same?
Normally I'll have you roll it again, but in this case you won't need it, as that is enough damage. As when the arrow strikes this Emerald Viper, it's almost as though a balloon pops, and you can just see this greenish goo suddenly cover the causeway.
Okay, so that would be action, movement of 5 feet. So I'm going to move back to here and then go to here, which will be 35 feet of movement. And I am going to, you guys see him kind of flap his cape up and then pull it around his head real quickly, kind of like a magician, and as he does, he kind of disappears. And I'm going to cast this. Bonus action in turn.
All right, so this guy is incapacitated, so he can, or actually, whatever it is, I know he can move, but he can't take any actions. So he is actually going to fly over and hover right above you, Brandel. And you can see he's about at the 5-foot mark right above your head. As we move to Ranvon.
Okay, I am going to hit that creature with another Sacred Flame, the one that just flew over Leopold. Let me measure that first, because I might be moving. I'm good.
Yes, this will indeed manage to hit him as the radiant energy cascades down and strikes him.
Okay, and then I know this is going to be at, wait a second, I'll yell out to Leo, hit him with the big stuff, and I'll cast a healing word on him at level 1, and then I'll click my other feature to remind everyone what that one does once I find it.
I'm guessing I don't take your blessed strikes on that.
You can if you'd like.
Zeroes out.
I'll use this on him and let him attack the creature right next to him with his reaction.
Okay. I'm gonna sharpshooter this one.
Okay, yeah, right in the face of those incredibly intense winds, you turn up, fire out, and shoot.
And I'll use War God's Blessing.
Okay, with War God's Blessing, that will certainly hit then, and yes. So you're using your reaction heat. Yeah, that all checks out. So that will indeed connect as that bolt punctures through and injures this guy.
And that is my turn.
Okay, next up is Leopold.
He's okay. So he's 5 feet above me right now.
Yes,
Is
he's
that
5
accurate?
feet right above basically where Brandel's head is. That's where his misty bodily lower form is.
Okay. Let's do. That's not gonna do much. Since Silver's down for the moment, I will use this bonus action spell, Branding Smite, which also is not super great, but is a little bit of extra damage. So the next attack that actually hits, he'll take four radiant damage, and then here come 2 regular crossbow attacks.
First will miss, second will manage to connect, so he will take that damage.
And I better throw a arcane jolt on that too.
So that is force damage. Okay, yeah, that will hit him as well.
And then that 4 radiant also earlier.
Indeed, yes, that's already been added in.
Right. Then yeah, that always gets me too, because I'm curious and I want to click on a spell and discover what it does, and it's like, you're caught. I'm going to really don't really want to take an attack from this guy. Darn it. I'm gonna move away, provoking, I'm sure, an opportunity attack. I'll
right.
shield if it hits me.
You move away.
Guess it doesn't. Okay.
All right, next up is Lexi.
Alright, Lexi's gonna roll one over here. Murder on that one. Since it just dropped.
Okay, you swing out at the watery one. First attack will indeed connect. Second attack, nice crit. Go ahead and roll that crit. Alright, so we'll take max damage there.
Alright.
Alright, next up is Dell.
Alright. Bonus action, spiritual weapon 20 feet and attack this creature right here.
Alright, the spiritual weapon flies through the air, goes towards him, swings out, and thanks to that bless, does indeed connect. Go ahead and post damage. Wounding this guy.
Alright, and then Dell will step up to right here. I'll go right here.
Dell,
I
as
can
you
still
start
hit him, right?
trying to move closer to this guy, the winds are so strong. I'm going to need you to give me a strength saving throw. Yeah, you managed to push through, fighting through this tremendous force. However, it's so strong that every square that you move is counted as difficult terrain.
So then if I go there,
You
I
can-
should have like 10 feet left.
I didn't see where you started at. Where did you start?
I think I started right here.
Okay, then yep, that'd be 20 feet to get there then.
Okay. And then I'm going to strike out with the staff.
Yes, once, or actually no, that's the one. That one does hit though. Yeah, go ahead and post damage for that.
I'm gonna pump a smite into this.
Yes, you wound him badly with this strike.
That was a first level smite. And then I'll attack again.
Second attack also connects, and as you hit with the staff of striking, you notice, much like the serpent, this guy pops as well, turning into a fine, wet mist that sort of covers you.
I'm trying to look at Brandon and go, that should do it. Now you can focus your attention frontwards.
But I'm all wet. Thank you, Doug.
Oh, you're welcome. And then that'll end my turn.
All right, we move to the ice guy, and yeah, he's looking out towards Lexi here and decides to smash her. So as he raises back this big icy fist to claw, here it comes. 11 towards Lexi. Lexi's AC is a 19. That will, of course, miss. The second one will manage to connect. That will be 23 points of slashing damage. Raging, so he'll cut that in half to 11 as we move to Brandel's turn.
Okay, from there, action, he's going to conjure some words and say, aptic say, tatic say, and he develops this mysterious purple, how fortuitous, orb, and he's just going to lob it behind the creatures, and I'm going to try the new spell thing. So let me try to do that.
Nice, give it a shot. And as you guys could probably tell, I turned off the winds because with that guy that was flying now defeated, those really harsh winds seem to fade all around you.
I have to click my token, that's right. Sorry, ignore all that, Adam. I'm bad.
I haven't seen anything yet, so you're good.
So it's the red, not the black, right?
You should see a very large red target right now with the black lines going through the red target. Just drag that to where you'd like it to be centered, and you should see the area of effect suddenly appear.
Oh, so I see. So it's not just the red; it's the mysterious semi-invisible box around it.
Well, on my screen right now, there might be a little bit of lag going on, but what I see is there's the targeting icon right on your token at the moment. So if you drag that somewhere, you should see the area. There you go.
Yeah. Yeah, what's wrong with that?
Yeah, so if that's where you'd like it, just go ahead and make sure you're selecting that and click the trigger all, and that should take effect. All right, so as the synaptic static strikes, both of them are indeed hit, so they suffer some damage, which is already applied there. And once that occurs, let's see, I think they also take roll a d6 for any attack rolls, ability checks, as well as constitution saves to maintain concentration. Okay, makes sense.
All right, and then 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Ugh, where did Cedric go? And my turn. Cedric, are you running away?
All right, this one's turn, and let's see, he's got something kind of fun here.
Well, actually, I could see invisibility. Are you invisible, Cedric?
I am, yes.
Oh, I see you. Hi, Cedric.
Yeah,
I'm trying to hide from people? That's right. How's that? Sorry.
What you see is like I drew in all of the mist into the cape around me, and so it just looks like a heavy cloak of mist in that area, but that's where Cedric is.
Okay.
All right, so this guy is going to lash out at Lexi here, and he will make an attack, and I know he's got that minus d6 on these, so we'll see if that has an effect. Okay, so that will connect preliminarily. Okay, so that'll make it a 17. That will miss. Second attack will hit regardless of what the other roll is. So that's 13 bludgeoning with a half to 6 with 5 fire. Total of 11 damage to Lexi as we move to Cedric's turn.
Could Lexi do her unstable backlash?
I believe so. Yeah, it just says you have to be struck for some damage or something, right?
Yes. You want me to post it?
Yeah, why don't you post it? Yeah, take damage, so yeah, you can certainly do that. Okay, who would you like to target with your radiant bolt of chest light?
The guy that just hit me.
All right, this bolt fires from your chest, striking out towards him, and this is a con save for him. And I think actually I don't even need to know your DC. He is going to succeed on that.
Okay.
Is that for con saves too?
I think
for
it
saving
said
throws?
just for concentration, right?
Yep. During combat, a number roll, attack rolls, ability checks, and con saves. Yep.
Yeah,
for
Constitution saving
concentration.
throws to maintain. Right, so not all con saves.
Roger that.
All right, yeah, we are at Cedric's turn.
All right, Cedric pops back from being invisible, and he's already got an arrow drawn, and he whistles sharply, and you guys see that little spirit pop up again of the little hawk, and it shoots over towards the creature that Lexi shot her lightning bolt around, and it just kind of looks like there's a little hummingbird that like traces around his head, and he closes one eye, and he's going to take a shot at him.
So does that mean moving your hunter's mark?
Yep, that's flavor for moving my hunter's mark.
And what is the range on hunter's mark?
90 feet.
90, nice. That'll do the trick.
I measured it. It was 80 feet, so we were good. And
Absolutely.
I'm prepared. I'm seasoned. All right.
I'll stop second question.
All right, here we go. Longbow. Boom.
All right, flies out towards this guy. Does indeed connect. Go ahead and post that damage.
All right, here's hunter's mark damage first, and longbow damage second.
All right, strikes into this watery form, damaging it.
Perfect. And he's going to take his second attack. Same creature.
Yeah, that'll certainly connect.
And then a hunter's mark again, right?
Yes, yep, that'll apply. All right, second shot will hit him as well.
Okay, I took those 2 slots back for hunter's mark, and I am going to move behind this barrel here for now.
Okay.
Hey,
Kinda
Adam.
tucking my back. I'm sorry, here rather.
Yep, did we
Hey,
have a
Adam.
question there?
Yeah, real quick. This guy, at the end of his turn, he can redo the intelligence saving throw.
Yep, I rolled it. He failed.
Okay, thanks.
Yep, appreciate the reminder. Ranvon.
Okay, I am going to step here so I can see the 2 health bars of the guys. Cool. So you can get a better read on the situation. He's going to hit the bigger guy with Sacred Flame.
All right, radiant energy coming down on the big guy. That's certainly going to be a failure. Yeah, so he'll get scorched by this radiant light.
And he'll toss another healing word at Leopold, who will be able to use his reaction to attack the same guy.
Thanks. I will. No disadvantage anymore, correct?
Correct. High winds are no longer a factor.
Sharpshooter.
That will manage to connect.
All right.
That is my turn.
And then it's Leopold's turn for True.
Okay. I'm gonna take 2 steps here. Did I just hit ice creature or water fire monster?
You hit the boiling water guy.
Okay, I'm gonna follow up on that with more sharpshooter attacks. Did it come?
There it comes. That one will miss. Second one
Right.
will manage to connect, though.
All right, I'll take it. Let's see, I moved. Just gonna move just a little bit more down here. That's it. And a turn.
All right, Lexi.
All right, I will try to do my Care Bear stare on that one.
Care Bear Stare. All right, this is the bolt of radiant energy. Oof, he is going to critically succeed this So that's a spell for you. Yeah, it's not really a spell. We'll just say that's no dice. He's not affected.
Okay. I thought it was going to reflect back at me. Harry.
Yeah, it might be considered a fumble, but I think on that one we'll just let it slide.
Whew, okay, and then I'll smash out with my battle axe at the wiggly one.
Yes, you slash out, connecting on this watery creature once again, and this time you see it just turns into a fine liquid that hits the ground and starts running through these different pieces of rock on the pavement here.
Oh, gross. Can I hit this one too with my second one, or am I done?
No, you certainly can.
Yeah. Eat some fake crescent, you ice cube.
Slash out, that does indeed connect as you carve a piece of that ice off of him. And in return, you notice some of that icy body shatters and flings out towards you.
Oops.
And you take 5 points of piercing damage, which you can half down to 2 because of your rage. Del.
Alright, so I'll move my spiritual weapon 20 feet, which is max. And then 30 feet gets me there, and I will chill touch this icy creature.
All right, chill touch. Yeah, that'll be a crit. Go ahead and roll that. Okay, so we'll take maximum damage. Go ahead and post that, and we'll just calculate maximum and apply that to him. Alright, as that necrotic hand rushes over and squeezes him quite forcefully so, he is wounded. Alright, then it is his turn, and he's looking over towards Lexi here, and will continue slashing out at her. Alright, so even if he rolls a 6, that will still connect. So that'll be 27 cut down to 13 against Alexi. Next one will automatically miss because of the minus, so no dice there. Here's his extra save. Ooh, he is no longer affected by synaptic static, but something tells me he won't make it to next round. Brando.
Okay. Do I have a clear shot with a firebolt?
Fire bolt. Well, if your arrow
Yeah.
goes through anybody, yeah, you're going through Dell there, so he would have some cover.
All right, let's see if I move closer. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. I'm still going to kind of be in the way of that. I'm going to go for it.
Okay, good deal.
Comes a firebolt.
That will manage to connect as you aim just over that barrel and just to the right of Dell. You notice this fire is particularly effective as it hits this icy creature, and it quickly turns him into just a pile of steaming water as he sizzles into the ground. Alright guys, you have successfully surpassed this combat. We'll go ahead and get you out of combat and change back to some more city music as you kind of take a look at your surroundings around here, trying to figure out what exactly just occurred.
I'm looking around the bridge. Did the bridge clear out? I mean, there's no one standing around, obviously, right?
You saw that there was, right when this happened, people like kind of moved quickly. You recall that there was 2 particular people that were kind of carrying something when this happened, but as you look around for them, you don't see them here on the bridge. As you guys are perhaps coming back together and connecting, you hear actually a voice. It sounds a little bit faint. Can you give a hand?
What? Where? Who are you? Where?
Down here!
Are you in the water?
And yes, you hear the voice, right? As you head to the edge of the bridge and look over, you notice there's this guy, and he's just kind of keeping himself afloat, motioning with his hands as he looks up, and he says, is it safe up there?
Well, yes, of course it is. Oh, did you dive in there and fear for your life? Find a foothold or handhold.
You see he kind of looks around a bit. I was going to head back over to where it's safer.
Great.
Why don't you call for our help?
I didn't want to make too much noise if there was still danger.
It is safe up here. Would you like us to throw you a rope?
Yeah, that might be better.
How far down is it?
It's like 25 feet.
I'm trying to look at Lexi. Do you want to use your new rope, or should I use mine?
I got this.
And I'll help her out.
Aren't you supposed to use the magic words?
Oh, deep. We'll see if she remembers this, right? Deep lore of what the exact words were.
Oh crap! Did I write this down?
Natalie is currently yelling at Brian with the mute on.
I'm biting my tongue.
Pineapple! No, wait. What was the other fruit?
From Mexico?
Avocado! Yes, I remember.
All right, as the rope goes down, you notice the guy looks at it kind of oddly as it's just kind of growing on its own as it's heading down this way, but he sure indeed grabs it, and with your application of the other word getting it to sort of coil back up, you see he is pulled back up towards the surface, and he's kind of, and he looks towards you. Thank you. Wow, that was rough. What happened?
You tell us.
I don't know. It just seemed like it came out of nowhere.
Who are you?
Oh, I am Henry. Henry, yes, that's me, Henry. Oh, sorry, still catching my breath. Wow, that was a lot.
Adam, when the orb thing, goo receptacle dropped originally, did we catch sight of who dropped it?
You did. This guy looks to be one of the two that was holding on to it.
Can I use detect thoughts from the helm?
Sure. So
surface thoughts.
yeah, surface thoughts are probably something along the lines of, oh my god, am I gonna have to pay for this thing? Oh my god, I can't afford it.
Good Sir Henry, what were you carrying?
Oh, it was just stuff they said to take into town. I had to. You see, he starts patting around his body. I had the address around here somewhere. I was supposed to deliver it to. What was that place called?
Where is your other companion?
You see, he looks around. Oh, I don't know. Did he jump off the other side?
Brando, can you check the other side to see if there's a body down there?
Oh, yes, of course.
Pineapple.
Hello? Anyone in the water trying to save your life?
You see nobody else down in the water.
Nope. I'm going to go back to looking at this ooze very curiously.
What is the address? Do you remember? Where was it generally located if you don't? Or do you know who it was to be delivered to?
It was in Lower City. Yeah, the Lower City.
The Lower City's a pretty big place.
Yeah, I had it written down. Oh, what was it? Oh, my paper got all wet. I have to try to remember. I might be able to figure it out, though. Oh, they're going to be so mad. I can only imagine how expensive this thing was.
I may have missed this, guys, but did he say a name?
Henry?
Henry.
Henry's his name.
Did he say the name of who he's delivering it to?
Not yet. He can't remember.
Your mama. I mean, what I meant to say was, Henry, you were delivering that, and then you were going to receive some payment, I imagine? What were you getting paid?
Oh, yeah, it was just a delivery fee. You see, I picked this up off the dock down there. It was kind of a strange agreement, but hey, you know, you got to make a coin where you can make it.
Who's your boss?
Well, it's an odd job kind of situation. You see, when work comes up, they kind of, spread word around the taverns and things, looking for some haulers, some porters, and yeah, I signed up for it. It was pretty typical work, but normally we pick stuff up more like, not here on the causeway, but, more like, down that way. And you see he kind of points to the north. But here, not so much. I thought it was kind of strange, but they were paying like triple wage, so I thought, hey, this would be a good chance to catch up and buy that gift I've always been trying to get Martha.
What were you to be paid?
Oh, it was actually 3 platinum pieces.
Who's Martha?
Oh, that's my girl.
How old does this guy look?
Maybe in his late 20s or early 30s.
Human?
Yes. Brando, go ahead and give me I'm going to say alchemical supplies check. If you're not proficient with that, just an intelligence check. You are not quite sure what this is. And remember, that would be blind check.
Oh, shoot.
Feature. Yep. So I can't come up with something cool now, but yeah, you don't know what it is.
That sucks.
Based on my background as a spy, Adam, do I have any knowledge of any kind of group in Baldur's Gate that can I make the correlation between the items and the group without having to ask him the name? Does it seem like somebody would be susceptible to buying those kind of items?
I don't think you even know what this item is yet. There's obviously many different groups that operate in Baldur's Gate. And of course, there's always different folks that are doing nefarious things, right? So, no, I would say this is way too generic. You would need a lot more information before you could try to pin this to a particular faction or something like that.
And is the green ooze from the snake creature still on the ground here?
It's more of like just a stain on the ground, and it's a much smaller puddle than this purplish.
Can I... Oh, go ahead, Dale. I'm sorry.
I yell, in my mind, I'll ask Brandel, are there any markings on the container that broke?
Yes, I should look for the container as well. So I'll use the wand of magic detection, and then I'll search for the glass remnants of the container, please.
Okay, you burn a charge of your wand of magic detection, but no, this area is not magical, short of anything that you or your companions have upon you. You can see that there is a lot of shards of glass here, where you presume is where the container itself actually shattered. There's not much left that you can make heads or tails of.
Ugh, nothing. It's completely shattered. And it's not magical. I don't know what happened.
He slipped, dropped the orb, smashed the thing on the ground, and caused all those things to appear.
Some sort of summoning liquid?
I don't sense any conjuration magic or anything.
Maybe the
makes
magic's
sense.
been used.
It all
sorry.
slipped out, yeah.
Henry, how big was this package that you were delivering?
It was like maybe 10 pounds or so, and, about yay big, and he kind of like mimes with his hands like a larger vase.
Can we see the paper with the address on it that got wet?
And you see he kind of pats at his pocket and reaches into this little area of his jerkin and kind of pulls out this little scribble of paper. And as he's kind of like trying to peel it apart, you can see it's all wet and sticking together, and the ink has sort of sopped through on both sides. You see he holds out and says, I don't think it's going to do you much good.
Hey Leo, would you be able to do you have a pencil and some paper or something like that we could put on top to scribble to see if maybe the pen used to scrawl on this left imprint in the paper?
I don't think I actually have any parchment on me. B, that might work when it fully dries out. I don't know if it'll work so well while it's still wet. But Brandel, can't you? Am I imagining things? Can't you do that prestidigitation thing and dry it out?
And Del goes, prestidigitation to Giant.
Oh, Del, you can do that. I knew somebody who could do it.
And post that one for me. I'm not sure that this will repair anything, but it probably will dry it out. Yeah, I guess probably clean would be appropriate at this. So I would say very small amount of water in this kind of fact. Yeah, I'd say prestidigitation can handle this. So the water just kind of leaks out to one side in this little tiny scrap of paper, and yeah, it's just a mess of smushed and kind of runny ink that is now dry.
I suppose that's. Looking at it, is there anything that can be, I guess, investigated? The keyword there for figuring out what the writing had been, if there's scratch marks, hash marks, any sort of.
You think perhaps
Bill.
somebody that is particularly proficient in, say, forging, like that kit, or that was very knowledgeable about writing, maybe they would have a chance to do something similar to what Dell has suggested here?
Okay, well, it turns out I'm a calligrapher proficiency, tools proficiency. Would that count?
That sure would, yeah. So give me a calligrapher's check. I would say probably intelligence or wisdom would be the stat here.
Yeah.
What exactly does the calligraphy domain entail?
Pretty
Really
different
good at
colored
writing the
pens.
first letter in the book.
I flavor it as that's how Leo does most of his infusions, by doing very nice looking arcane lettering on stuff. But yeah, writing things, I guess. This is a blind check then? Will that appear on there?
It will, yes.
Okay. Should be expertise too.
Oh, okay. The expertise part won't, but yes, I've got your roll. So yeah, you looking at this, you feel like this is in such bad shape, you don't think there's any really saving this.
Don't think it's going to work. Sorry.
Well, we could always follow the man and to where he was going to drop it off, right?
Perhaps this gentleman will let me probe his thoughts a little deeper, and maybe I can discern the location. Maybe it's just buried in his head, and he needs help retrieving it.
Does that work? How can you remember something he can't?
It might be deeper in his thoughts, and given the fact that he almost drowned, maybe he just can't recall what was on the paper. Would you be okay with this, sir?
You see, he looks at you, says, "You want to do what to my brain?"
Just read your thoughts, and I produce a gold piece.
And you see, he licks his lips as he looks at your gold coin. It's not going to hurt, is it?
There will be no pain, and it will not harm you.
And you see he reaches forward your gold piece, looks at it, kind of puts it towards his tooth, and takes a little bite, looks at it, puts it in his pocket. Oh, okay.
All right, so I'm going to use the helm to detect thoughts, but probe deeper.
All right, yeah, go ahead and post that for me. I think that's just the detect thought spell, right?
Yeah, it's a DC 13. It might be pushing it, but I figured I'd try.
Hey,
It's
if
a
he
free
resists,
cast.
we're taking that dollar back.
Della's shoving it back into the water.
So what I'm going to say is, coupled with this, give me a investigation check. And this is going to be, intelligence is probably the most appropriate. So I imagine it's sort of like you've mentally connected to his mind and you're now sifting through these thoughts, but it's very chaotic and rambled. You're seeing, sort of images of perhaps children or family that he has, different businesses, adventures he's been on here, hauling a bunch of boxes, water, eating fish, like all of these things, and you're trying to cipher through it and figure out what it is. So that will be a blind check. Just go ahead and click on your token. You should get the token action for blind check. Click that. Good deal.
Did it go through?
It did indeed, yes.
Awesome.
It's it's so chaotic in his mind that you cannot discern what he is talking about. There's just so much here. You feel like you would probably need at least a half hour to make any sense of this whatsoever, and perhaps even longer.
Well, that wasn't. You have a lot on your mind. Maybe you should use that gold to go get yourself an ale and ease your thoughts, Henry.
Oh, that's the best news I heard all day. Well, if you guys are done with me, then yeah, I'll be on my way.
We'll keep this paper though.
Yeah, I can't do anything with it now. I just hope they don't come after me.
Does anyone have any other questions for Henry before he jaunts off?
I have one. It's not super pertinent to the investigation, but I'll take you aside to ask it, Henry.
Yeah, okay. And you see he kind of slowly follows you.
Henry, how long have you been with Martha?
Oh, gee, it's been like almost 3 years now. 3 years and a couple weeks, I think. Yeah, it's a couple weeks. It'll be 3 years.
And what is it that you love about her?
Oh, it's got to be how she walks into a room, and when she does, she always has a smile on her face. It just lifts your spirits right up.
That's what I like to hear. And Ranvon's going to extend his hand and put 30 gold pieces, which is what he would have got paid for the job, in this guy's hand.
And you see he looks at, oh, are you serious? For real? I can keep these?
You seem a good man who's down in his luck, Henry, so you go treat Martha.
Ah, thank you. Who can I tell her is my mysterious benefactor?
Your hard work.
Wow, okay, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I hope everything that happened here didn't hurt you guys.
None. Don't even worry about it. We'll take care of it.
Thank you so much. Oh, this is great. I'm going to go right now. Thank you. You see, he kind of claps you on the hand, gives you a really firm handshake as he turns and starts quickly with a big step in his stride, making his way to the west.
I'm gonna look at Dale. He's still got the rope hanging over the side. Did he ever pull it up?
I believe it was actually Lexi that used her rope to go down and get him.
Sorry, Lexi. Is the rope still hanging over?
No, I said pineapple.
So he said he had a friend, right?
Yeah, but we couldn't find him anywhere.
Seems to be missing.
You want to lower me down and see if maybe he's underneath the bridge, or maybe he's hiding and scared?
Not that you can't do it, Cedric, but I'll just fly down.
I can breathe underwater, you asshole.
Right?
You asshole. Dive in, dude. That you should do a full-on swan dive, dude.
As Leo is hovering above the water line, he looks up and he says, "The water's fine then."
Go on then. Take your look.
As you've tapped your ruby slippers together and you're now flying down here, scanning around, go ahead and give me a quick perception check.
Oh, damn it.
That's okay. It'll take a while to get used to it. No worries. Yeah, you look around this area. You don't see anything out of the ordinary. Nobody sticking to the underside of this causeway. Nothing obvious in the water. You can see it is fairly deep here based on how far you guys have gone out from the mainland. So it's probably at least a good 20 feet, if not more. The first few feet of the water's reasonably clear, and you don't see much there. Then it gets dark pretty quick. Hard to see much down there.
I can't see all the way to the bottom, so Cedric, if you want to go down there, be my guest. But I don't believe he's anywhere within 20 feet, at least, of the surface.
Can you see underwater, Cedric?
I can see in total pitch black darkness at all times.
But the water is murky.
That's a different story. Adam, when we watched the incident happen, did we see what direction all the chaos? I mean, I know we were coming. Let me put my own.
Yeah, you guys were coming from the west and moving to the east. and you sort of saw these two men walking, like kind of holding something in between the two of them. And then you didn't really pay much mind to it because you didn't think anything was really happening. And as they passed you, you suddenly heard this alarm as presumably the object between them was mishandled and dropped, and then it shattered, and it caused all this purplish mist, which really made it difficult to see anything. So as far as picking out any particular details, you could probably make a intelligence check here, sort of a memory check, going back and seeing if you can recall any specific facts that might aid you.
I'm going to do it right. I'm going to click on my token, and I'm going to click blind check.
Boom.
You recall
Did
that
it-
Henry said he loved his anvil shoes.
Did it work?
It
I
did.
don't know.
Yeah.
Okay.
So when you do it, you guys should be getting a little message that says something like, it should be fine, but if not, I'll make sure to build that in for you guys moving forward. But
I did not, sir.
Okay, got it. No worries. I'll build that in. You try to recall back any particular details, but no, you can't remember anything other than what has already been described, and just the chaos, it just kind of overwrites any maybe pertinent facts you may have picked up.
Okay, so I'll look at everybody and say, well, I mean, I can go down there, but is it really worth our time?
No.
Absolutely not.
Well, a man could be dead, right? It'd be good if we could find him. He's maybe not too far gone.
Yeah,
Well-
but humans float, right?
His friend didn't care about him. I want to check out these bananas.
I was like, what is she talking about? It's, oh, okay, yeah. You head over here, you look here. This is not actually bananas, but it looks more like cucumbers, just for fun. Why not? So yeah, it's a whole circular like basket here filled with vegetables, mostly cucumbers.
Is there any skooma hidden in there?
No, not that you see. You'd spend a little time searching through here for anything out of the ordinary, but doesn't seem to be.
Look, his friends, if he's in the water, he's dead. And Butterfingers that just left, he's not going to survive the night. Who was going to pay 3 platinum pieces expecting the delivery of this valuable merchandise? He's going to be dead by morning.
Wait, do you really think so?
Man, how valuable would that be? If that's a vial that contained all these creatures that shattered on the ground, it must be worth thousands of gold pieces.
What if he could pay them back? Do you think they'd still kill him?
It's a
Depends
cruel
on-
world.
It just depends on the organization. From what I know, though, whenever they're two-man teams, you usually have a fall guy, just in case something goes wrong. So he could have just taken off, run away.
Yeah, the other guy probably ran for his life, knowing that he's going to die. We'll look for Henry whenever we get back into town, but I don't trust he's going to survive much.
And Adam, were they coming in the same direction we were coming, or were they coming towards us?
They were coming towards you.
So we're on this bridge going to this kind of peninsula where this fort is. So maybe they got the items from here. So I'll look at everybody and I'll say, they were coming in this direction. I don't remember a cart or any kind of wagon or wheelbarrow. So I imagine they probably recently picked it up. So why don't we investigate more inside?
Excellent idea. Fitting in quite well, Cedric. I really like when you called Leopold an asshole. That was really clever.
It was a dick move, dude.
I want to try to save you from having to climb down the rope and dick around with that. That's a dick move? Fine.
I think you just wanted to show off your slippers.
Well, you don't
Right.
look a man who could breathe underwater.
Well,
Right, how was I supposed to know that?
Yeah, I most men can't see in the dark either, but it's a skill I possess, yes.
Well, you never mentioned either of those.
You never asked either, Renvon.
I feel like the onus is on you a little bit, though. That would be an
Cedric.
odd thing to ask.
What can you do in terms of abilities? Please.
Okay. Well, when Frederick found me, I had just come out of spending 3 years lost in the Underdark. You ever heard of someone who was shadow touched? Doesn't look like it. Okay. In the Underdark, it is, as you can probably guess, quite dark. All of the creatures in there are able to see in darkness, and I had to adapt quickly. I was eating what I could find, and there was this particular mushroom that I ate. It was inky and black, but it tasted sweet. After consuming probably my weight in those mushrooms over the course of 3 years, I slowly began to have unique abilities. For one, I can speak with plants and most animals. I can sense where animals are. Not just animals, though, I can locate objects as well. I can make other people feel lighter on their feet, easier to sneak around. I'm particularly adept at finding traps. I also have a unique ability where I can turn a rope, whether magical or non-magical, into an extra dimensional space and hide away if I need to. I can see in the dark, but not just see. Anything that requires dark vision to see cannot see me. I am invisible. I suppose it's a side effect of those mushrooms I ate. Um, I'm originally from way up north, uh, probably farther north than most of you have been in your life. I'm part of a group called the Hoppers. We were spies. My job was to track people down, learn about them, make contacts with criminals, know their whereabouts. Frederick and we see eye to eye, and I particularly like him. He's a nice guy. He loves his friends, and what he's done for El Terrell is quite amazing. And it's the only good place to find a beer.
All
Any
right.
other questions, or can we continue?
You sure didn't leave anything out?
I was
Well,
wondering about your early childhood and where you grew up at, and no, kidding. Thank you.
I
Favorite
guess
color?
it's orange. I'm also able to make poison, and I have a particular special poison that I can only make, and it works on just about anything.
Is it made of inky black mushrooms?
No, no, it's made of a few different materials, most of which you can get here in town.
I do have one question, you see. Why would you be so compelled to eat an inky black mushroom? Ugh.
Well, I didn't know it was inky and black until I could see it clearly. I was also starving. I had broken my leg. I had fought off a few creatures. There's these creatures that they look like stalagmites, but they have a giant eye and these tendrils, and they smack the crap out of you. Um, I got in a fight with a couple of those. I found this little cove, had some fresh water, as well as those mushrooms, and it kind of became my home over the 3 years it took me to find a way out.
You seem a brave man, Cedric. Most people would, I think, just give up and die in that situation.
I killed a lot of creatures down there. I don't really believe in dying. It's not kind of what I want to happen to me. And now that I've met Frederick, his mission is way more concrete than mine. So we've got purpose. I've got meaning. And also, the old man should die soon, so I'll have to just protect him until then. So,
Yes, thank you for that. Meanwhile, do you want to forge ahead then as we go to the tower?
are you sure you have no more questions?
No! Put a sock in it, FNG. You're lucky we like Frederick. Let's go!
Nice.
All right.
She'll rub off on you soon enough. There, Lexi is like an onion. You got to peel back the layers. Hang
I
in
haven't
there.
had my fucking skooma.
Oh, skooma. You know, because of my contacts with criminals, Lexi, I'm sure I could find you some.
Really? You may remove the sock.
I didn't know you were literal with that, but yes, after we complete this little endeavor, I'll inquire around for you.
Lexi takes her sock out of his mouth.
I think we're gonna be friends.
Shall we continue then?
Lead on, McDuff.
All right, you guys continue making your way across the causeway. You can hear the sound of the city sort of fading behind you as you're getting closer and closer to the sea tower of Baldurin. As you do, you notice that there is some, I guess you would call them sort of docking pegs on the either side of the causeway here, which is where boats could potentially tie off to, for example. And you can see that most of them don't look like they really see much usage. They don't look like they're in all that great of shape. And they kind of just hang out there, and you can kind of peek in that direction, thinking if you can see if there's anything out of the ordinary, or, hey, is this maybe where this information came from as far as the boat? But no, you don't spot anything else of interest. As you're getting closer to the sea tower itself, you can see that there are several guards here, all dressed in the common attire of the Flaming Fist.
Yes. Hello, guards. You're protecting the bridge.
As you call out to one of them, you notice he turns and kind of raises his visor a bit. Citizen, what are you doing here?
We're actually defending the tower of the attack on the bridge there. Did you notice that?
You've walked quite a distance here before you've gotten to the sea tower. You're not sure if perhaps they have noticed this at all. So you notice he looks at you and kind of raises an eyebrow and looks back and says, "Attack on the causeway."
Well, never mind. We're here to see the head of the Flaming Fist, Older Ravengard, please. Oldar.
What business do you have with Alder Ravengard?
I'll just tell him that Brandel and the company from El Terrell is here to meet him, and we have questions for him personally, if you don't mind. Don't mean to send you off as an errand, but that's why we're here.
You see he looks at you again. Brandel, is he supposed to know who this is?
Yes.
You see he kind of looks over to some of the other Flaming Fist guys that are kind of looking towards him, and you notice one of them kind of shrugs and he looks back. Wait here a moment.
What's the traffic like on this bridge? If we asked this guy if they'd seen someone carrying a package and then run back, do we think that he'd see it, or is there like hundreds of people walking here?
No, once you get this closer to the sea tower, it's a lot thinner, more towards the main area, the main land there. There was a lot of activity right there, and some people, docking their boats closer to this kind of causeway, more closer to the mainland. But out this far, it looks pretty clear.
And this is the same bridge that we had the fight on, right?
It is, but you were much closer to the west side when the fight broke out versus where you are now. So just as a rough idea of distance, you were probably a good, 250 feet away or so.
That's fine, because we know the guys were coming from this way. So I'll ask him, hey, you didn't see a man, two men actually, that were carrying vials walk that way, and then maybe one of them ran back?
Carrying vials? No. Yes, we see people on occasion, but what is your interest in this?
One of them, the fight we talked about that broke out, it seemed like the vials might have been the cause, and we only managed to find one of the two people who were carrying them. And the other man, he either ran back this way, which is what we hoped, so he's okay, or fell over the side somehow.
That's unfortunate. Is there any cleanup necessary from this fight you're referring to?
There's like some liquid in the middle of the bridge, but nothing the rain can't take care of, I don't think.
I see. So a couple guys came down. Did they give you trouble and you beat the piss out of them? Is that what you're trying to tell me?
No. When the vials... Brandel, maybe you understand it a little better than I could.
Oh, yes, well, it's quite a fantastic story, actually. So they were delivering a vial, and it seemed to smash, and out came these creatures, a huge frost storm type of creature, and snakes on the bridge. But when we dispatched them, they just seem to dissipate or turn into water. Actually, a couple of them was like a frost astronaut, and the other one was like a fiery water snake. It's very odd. It's nothing I've seen before in all of my adventuring. But it should be fine now. Like Ramvon said, just a little rain will take care of it. Certainly suspicious, though, considering that the products came from this direction. So that's all we're inquiring upon. You should probably know that and keep the sea tower safe.
The sea tower is very secure. Don't worry about that. I'll speak with some of the others and do a bit of a patrol down that way, see what we can make of your story here, and see what we can figure out. Wait here a moment. I'll see if Alder Ravengard's available. All right, as you guys stand there sort of at the edge of the sea tower here, you can hear the sound of some birds flying around you and calling out. You can hear the sound of the water just kind of lapping up against this area. Overall, it's fairly calm, much different than this chaos you just had when you were crossing the causeway. And it doesn't take too much longer before you hear the sound of footsteps approaching, and you notice Alder Ravengard himself turns the corner as he starts coming out to greet you. As he sees you, you see he steps forward and says, "Well, there's some individuals I didn't think I would see again." And you see he stretches his hand forth.
Oh, Mr. Ravengard, congratulations on your new post. How have you been? I'll shake his hand.
And you see he takes your hand and shakes it and says, "New post? Well, you probably don't recall, but this was actually my old post. With all that terrible tragedy that occurred back in Elturel. But either way, things are getting much better in shape now. It's been doing pretty well. It takes time and all of that. But I feel like we're getting a solid handle on things. Still a lot of strange occurrences. But how are all of you? I haven't seen you in quite some time, ever since, well, I don't even want to use the moniker, but the other Elturel."
Frederick sends his regards, sir. My name is Cedric. I'm here as a proxy.
A proxy. Oh, okay. Yes, I think I recall Frederick. He was that really thin one that dressed kind of flamboyantly.
Yes, that would be him.
Oh, good. Well, I'm glad to hear that he's okay. Well, when I saw most of you all, I figured none of you would actually survive, but obviously having heard quite a the stories after that, I was very happy to hear.
No, sir, he actually died in El Turel. It was these folks who saved him and brought him back.
Oh, so he's seen the other side then. Well, I can't say I envy him that. Traumatic experience from what I've been told.
I'll send his regards. Thank you.
So, I hear Brandel, and you see he turns towards you, Brandel. You get this impression almost of like, I'm pretty sure you're Brandel. You wanted my attention? You asked to speak to me?
Yes, of course. I know you're a very busy man, but just much like old friends, maybe is there a place we could sit inside and take 5 minutes of your time?
Inside's kind of hectic at the moment. Perhaps we can take a stand out here by the causeway.
Oh, yeah, it's a nice day. Sure enough. So we're here because, well, we've been on a bit of a different other adventure since we've gotten back. It's been a few years, but we come across some slave traders, and of course did the right thing and dispatched them, and then we teleported back to here. But when we did, we ended up teleporting into Frederick into the High House of Wonders, and we ran into Hallex.
Name sounds familiar, right? He is one of the primary artificers at the High House of Wonders.
Yes, exactly. Very smart man. Beautiful place. Anyway, he told us that they had a break-in recently.
Yes, actually, I am aware. I've heard that. I think it came through one of the recent dispatches. Are you taking a particular interest in this case?
Yeah, actually, we are. He was quite gracious to us, and before we went to El Torel, he was very helpful when we met them initially the first time, and we thought maybe we'd give it a chance. And being we're old pals, I wondered if you wouldn't mind if we came in and try to ask those intruders what their intent was and kind of give a favor for the Hallex.
Wait a minute. You spoke with Hallex. You said favor for what? I'm sorry, I'm not following.
Oh, well, do you see, maybe we could ask him some questions. Dell is particularly motivated in this forum, and maybe we can get some answers for him, help you out, and then help Hallex out.
Get some answers from who?
We were told that the perpetrators were detained here at the C Tower.
I see. Well, that unfortunately is not correct, and loose lips sink ships, as they say. And you see he kind of scans around for a moment. In fact, they are being held in the dungeons of the Sewer Keep, but there is only 2 of them, and I haven't had much of an opportunity to interrogate them myself or even get a report from the prison warden there. But I suppose if that is your interest, and you think you can do this skillfully and with following all of our laws, then yes, I could probably allow you to do so.
Oh, excellent. I love following laws.
And you see he turns towards you, Del. You were Del, right?
Sorry, I heard my name. What was up?
Alder Ravengard looks towards you and says, and you were Del, right?
Yes, sir.
You see he nods slowly. So what skill do you have to try to get some information out of these infiltrators that you don't think that we would already have been able to get?
Well, I can read people's thoughts, and mentally, in his head, he hears. I can also make suggestions to their mind, and I can also determine whether or not they are lying through simple spells.
I see. You see he nods a bit. Yes, I suppose that would be quite handy. All right. Well, yes. Obviously, do not use any violence at these infiltrators. I know, as I said, there's at least 2 of them. Trying to recall the details. I think one was actually a local, if I remember correctly. The other one, we're not sure who he is yet. But yes, they're at the dungeon of the Sewer Keep. So let me write you a quick script. You see he pulls out a little piece of parchment and a quill and just kind of jots down a little brief introduction, you presume. And he folds up this little piece of paper. It's kind of like a tiny scroll. And he hands it over towards you, Del. He says, hand this off to the prison warden and he should give you access. Any information you're able to garner, I will ask that you bring that back to me post-haste.
Yes, sir.
Is there any questions or anything else that you needed from me?
Thanks, Ravengard. Keep up the good work.
The water here. If someone were to fall over the bridge here, would you expect that you'd see the body, or would they wouldn't sink, right?
Depends on what they were wearing, how heavy. If it was something that would drag them down, yeah, it's certainly. Sometimes there's some dangerous undertow there that can pull a person under even when they're trying to swim.
Okay, all right. That's probably a little confusing. One of your men will fill you in on that. I think he's looking for you already.
Oh, I see. Okay, well, if there's nothing else you need from me, then are you familiar with where the Sewer Keep is?
No, no, I don't see it on my map.
Just head back across the causeway and follow the water line to your southwest. You'll find it. It won't take too long.
Oh, yes, I just had to scroll my browser up. There it is.
Always important to do when you're looking at your physical map is scroll your browser.
Well, you look well, and I'm glad to see that things are coming back to normal. Are things coming back to normal since our little adventure?
Slowly, but things take time. Yes, things are much better than they were, but I'm still concerned about some of the elements over in Eltra. Have any of you been following along with the rebuilding and reconstruction process?
I think Cedric has some information about that.
Yes, Fred has opened a guild hall there and takes on contracts, tracking down occult objects and cult members. I know that Celise Mentalmorn, Rhea's mother, has taken a position of kind of like an overseer. Why do you ask?
Things have been moving along slowly there. I'd hope that the survivors and anybody else that would arrive seeking to lend them aid would band together, become more of a community. But I've just been getting some very disturbing reports of people taking this as an opportunity to wring whatever value out of the what remains of the city that they can. Very unfortunate, as cities don't survive if they don't have a joint purpose. They don't feel as though they all are responsible to one another.
And I believe that is why Frederick is doing what he is doing, sir. And that is why I follow him as well. And I'll reach down on my belt and I'll unclip my little badge, and it's the Lulu's Legion. And I'll just look at him and I'll say, how about you take this? This is Frederick's. He commissioned it to me. I can get another one. He has them made often. But um, keep your eye on him. He is going to do big things for that city.
And you notice as you're kind of holding this out, he like raises an eyebrow and nods a bit, and he says, "Yes, I must say I haven't heard much about this group you're referring to, but feel free to keep it. I have my own resources of knowledge. I'll see if I can't pull out some information about that group in particular. But if he's trying to aid the city, that would be beneficial. If he's doing that simply out of his own goodwill or the intent to bring the city back to its prosperous former self, that would be wonderful. There's far too many people who are simply looking to line their own pockets at this point."
Yes, I think when he died, he felt like he let his companions down, and now he is doing what he can to make up for what he missed.
I see. Well, hopefully his work will have a positive impact on what remains of Eltro. Well, as you mentioned previously, I'm quite busy. I should get back to it. But as I said, follow the water line. You'll find the sewer keep. If you are able to learn anything, make sure I'm informed quickly. If this is anything larger than just another crime in the city, we certainly want to look into it.
Thank you. And before you go, you mentioned to Brandal to follow the laws when it comes to interrogation. Is there anything specific that we are to avoid?
Any kind of violence or harm done upon any captive would not be permitted at this point, especially not by yourselves, as you are not law enforcement here in Baldur's Gate. You're simply acting on my behalf.
Got it.
So on that note, Adam, I wanted to, while we're waiting, looking at the guards and looking at Mr. Ravengard, I have the Flaming Fist badge in my pocket. I'm not going to pull it out, but is it the same style, or did they change the image, or does it look
No,
similar?
it would look the same.
Okay, all right, good enough.
All right, well, if that is all, then I shall head back inside and take care of some affairs, and I'll wish you luck.
Good luck, you. Yep, be in touch. Excuse me. Yep.
I was gonna say, as like that conversation kind of ends and he starts to walk away, I'll walk over to Ranvon and I'll just look at him and say, "You're visibly distressed about the other companion of Henry. Are you sure you don't want to go check?"
Well, I figured once we get to the middle of the bridge, if we could spare the minute, I'd commune.
It's worth it, Redvon. Do what you think is best. I agree. It's now that I think about it, it's quite sad.
All right. Well, let's go see if we can find that spot. Yes.
If you do, don't forget to use blind check.
Can I see if I can lead Ranvon back to the same spot, Adam? Would it be easy to find?
It's got a big purple stain.
Yeah,
I
to where
imagine
the
so,
battle
right?
was? Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I didn't know if maybe it had diminished or anything, but yeah, okay.
All right, so yeah, you guys start making your way back across the causeway, heading back towards the area where the battle took place. It doesn't take you too long to find it, maybe 5 minutes or so walking down. Yeah, the stain definitely sticks out.
Okay, if we can spare the minute, I'm just gonna ask some questions, and I will use the commune from the helmet, and I'll post that spell for us.
Yeah, you channel this through the helmet and start to commune with the presence or avatar, perhaps, of Torm.
Hey, Torm, what did the fox say?
I can't play with Dylan anymore. Okay. I will ask. Did the man fall in the water?
Yes.
Did the man die?
Yes.
Is his body at the bottom of the seafloor?
Unclear.
Okay. I only get the 3, I think. Yep. I'll let the others know. He did fall over. He did pass away, but it's not clear if his body is at the bottom of the water or not.
Well, we could see if we could track the current. Haha. Get it?
I feel like locating a body is not a difficult thing to do, unless the only thing I could think of for that question being unclear might be if his body was in multiple pieces.
Well, Henry said he did have anvil shoes, right? And they were very distinct. Yes.
Now that might have just been a joke that we made,
Oh.
a bad one now in retrospect. Now that we know that he did indeed die.
Well, if he was actually wearing those shoes, I could have located the shoes, and we could have just tracked him that way.
I would imagine finding a body in this bay would be very hard, actually. But it's worth a try. And maybe he's not at the bottom of the floor because he's floating in the middle. Who knows?
Or perhaps the river has taken him further downstream.
If Torm couldn't tell us where he was, I don't think we should waste our time, honestly. I care for the man who passed away, and it would be nice if we could recover the body, but it's probably a fool's errand.
Yeah, given the river and the current, the body's probably perpetually moving.
Yeah, he was on a shady mission to move a shady orb and give it to some shady people, and then he fell in. If you ask me, it's karma.
I'm just saying that if we know any of the objects that he has on him, I can just track him. All this tide stuff will kind of go away. We'll just be able to find him immediately.
Henry would be your best bet there. We didn't know him that well. And Lexi, you have to realize it didn't seem like these two knew what they were carrying, right? They're just two people down on their luck. It's circumstance.
Yeah, but 3 platinum pieces to carry stuff, they should have known.
What? Someone else would have taken that job if they hadn't.
Yeah, 3 platinum pieces buys a lot of silence. And a lot of questions aren't typically asked.
Yeah, let's go ask questions of these prisoners in the sewer. Why are we wasting time on this guy that we didn't even know?
I mean, maybe the paper can prove fruitful when we have supplies, but
Well, my only thought is they were obviously not magical once they passed away, but they must have been magical while they were alive, I would assume. This is just an assumption. So, what can create those kind of items, right? I mean, Leopold, you make things all the time. Is that a common creation you can make?
Sorry, which part? Common creation of?
Like an object that creates hydras or
Oh, no,
cigarettes?
that's some legendary shit right there. I don't think I can think of anyone that could probably make some of that.
I can think of only one place, really. We were there. The High House of Wonders, right? And they said objects were stolen.
Fair point.
Actually, I've been meaning to ask this, Adam. I listened back. It said destroyed. Did you say destroyed or stolen?
Destroyed.
Yeah, okay. I want to make that clear. But certainly it doesn't moot your points at all. And also, Adam, mechanically, does Arcane Eye go in the water? Can I push that in the water?
Yes, but remember with that limited to 30 feet, you would get disoriented if you started going deep.
That's true. I feel like it's beyond my magics.
I don't think there's anything to be done. I appreciate you entertaining the thought of us being able to find him and putting up with me. But and Lexi, as to why, I firmly believe that every life has value.
Well, I don't.
Well, I hope to show you that you're wrong.
Maybe we'll still come around to this again if we keep pulling the thread that we are right now. So why don't we just head to the sewer keep and see if we can't find something out.
All right, you guys continue to make your way following the water line, much like Alder Ravengard explained to you. Passing by some workers, you can see that they're almost similar. If you didn't know any better, you would be like, "Oh, these guys look a lot like Henry, wearing this kind of common clothes, loose fitting, as they're down here by the water. And it's decently warm." You're just kind of passing by this area, see some fishermen, you can see some small rowboats pushing out and that sort of thing. Continue making your way by. You can get to this sort of main tower. As you kind of approach, you can see some guards looking at you. I assume you guys are going to mention something to the effect that you're wanting to speak to the warden.
Yes.
All right, and they will usher you pretty quickly into the sort of the entrance of this main area of the sewer keep itself. So you kind of make your way around the water here. You can see that there is a small group of people waiting for you as you approach. You get the impression that when you sort of stopped at this first tower, maybe word was sent ahead, and you can notice this distinctive and refined looking gentleman standing here as he's watching you approach. And as he sees you coming, you notice he just kind of gives this gesture with a hand for you to approach. And as you guys do so, you see he turns towards you and kind of licks his gums for a moment, lowering his gaze. And before he talks, we will go ahead and pause and take our 15-minute break here, guys.
Sounds good.
Dun, 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 dun.
All right, everybody, we pick back up with our player characters over at the entrance to the Sewer Keep dungeons. So as the group has arrived here in front of the Sewer Keep, you notice there is this, you might call him more of like a dignified looking type of man, older human gentleman, maybe in his late 50s or early 60s. He is dressed actually in armor, which is a little bit surprising. The guards nearby him are as well, but based on his demeanor, you would almost expect him to be like a noble or someone along those lines, maybe more of a bureaucrat kind of person. But he is certainly dressed in armor. You can see that there's a blade at his side, and there is a cape hanging off of his back. You see as you begin to approach who is in the lead of your group. You see he inclines his head towards you, Lexi, as you're taking point here. I suppose that you're the one that they sent forth about.
Yes, that would be us.
I must tell you, I do not enjoy this sudden attention grabbing of my time. I don't suppose you'd be willing to explain to me what exactly it is that you think you can learn and that we cannot.
We're not here to insult you, sir, nor insult your skills, but we have a friend who has a particular set of skills that is quite unique. Here, I have the script from Ravengard, and we're expected inside.
And as you hand this little scroll forward, you see he kind of undoes it and looks at it, and you see he just kind of tisks to himself and he looks up. This is why nothing ever gets completed around here, always having to do special favors and whatnot. I suppose it's beyond me, can't control it. Fate will have it to what it is. Come in.
For your troubles, and I'll hand him an extra gold coin as I walk by.
Do I look like a peasant? You see he looks at you with a sneer and turns, fluttering the cape behind him as he strides forth.
No, you look like you could use an ale. Okay, I'll keep
Yes.
it.
All right, as you enter behind him, you hear the sound of this open sort of chain lock, and you can hear the sound of stuff all behind you as these doors kind of slam. There's like movement. It seems overall this is a kind of a strange area, perhaps, as all these sounds kind of connecting to one another. And you can hear maybe kind of a little bit of moving about, a little bit of chatter, but it's kind of all very much a muted affair. As you guys step through, you can find yourself in an actual dungeon here. The surroundings are all made of stone. You can see that there's even like a cobblestone ground here. There are several torches that have been mounted all around this area, so light does not seem to be much of an issue. But you're kind of winding in like this winding tunnel type area as you press forward, following this obviously irritated gentleman. He turns like another corner and enters here and looks back and he says, "So, you want to speak to the infiltrators then? Take all the glory? Yes, come follow me." And this is the irritated gentleman here. All right, and you notice he starts to walk forth. Come, don't tarry.
We're not tarrying.
As you step by, you can notice that there are several other guards here, most of them kind of just holding on to spears and wearing armor, but there's a few others that actually have ranged weapons. Not that they're drawn, they're kind of just like either slung on their back or leaning against a nearby wall. You start to make out some cells to your west as you continue moving north. As you're getting right to about here, you can hear the sound of very mournful, sorrowful moans coming from the west. And you notice this gentleman looks back towards you and says, Come, let's go. Shut up, you!" and kind of smacks against the wall.
What did the man in here do?
The writ does not say I have to answer your questions, just lead you to the infiltrator.
It would be nice, though.
You see he motions to the west. There he is. Dell, as you look into this cell, looks fairly cramped indeed. You notice this wretched form sort of leaning down. It just kind of raises its head, and you recognize Alan from the Elf Song Tavern. You see he kind of blinks his eyes and rubs them momentarily as he looks out, seeing the light sort of approach his cell. Is it you all? Oh, it's Dell, was it? Wait, do I know you?
Thank you, sir. We'll take it from here. Very, very nice of you to lead us this way.
You notice he looks towards you, Brandon, and he says, "If you think I'm leaving you here to speak with him without any supervision, you would be wrong."
The writ doesn't ask you to supervise, sir. It asks you to let us interrogate. And to do so, we need you to leave.
Give me a persuasion check, Cedric.
And while that's going on, in his head, he hears "leave."
It's probably fine. I saw it that time, Adam.
All right, good deal. You notice he has this very sneering look upon his face as he looks towards you and says, "No, it shall not be done. No, I will stay right here." And then you see he kind of pauses for a moment. He looks around. "Which of you is using magic down here? Do you have no social graces at all?"
Well, the thing is, we're quite pressed for time, and it'd be best if we...
Then you should probably start and get out of my dungeons as soon as possible.
Well, we're at orders of Ravengard to do this, and we would appreciate some discretion, some privacy, so that he can speak freely. He's not going to speak as freely if you're lingering around the corner. Just maybe take a few steps back.
No.
Okay.
Maybe we have to go get Ravengard and come back. He's not going to be happy that we're going to have to take up more of his time just for this guy here, but if that's what needs to happen, maybe that's what we do.
And Brandel, in your head, you hear Dell. Is this the one you call Alan?
Let me have a look.
You squeeze by Brandel, and yes, you do indeed recognize Alan here, still kind of blinking, looking out towards you. He's trying to stand, but he looks quite sore. Brandel, it's good to see you again. I wish it under better circumstances, though. Quite terrible looking, I'm sure. This is so just dreadful.
I'm looking this way, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So
Yes, and I'll be if I can reply, I'll say yes.
All right. Thank you, Brandel. And then I'll establish the link with Alan and go, Alan, this is Dell, an esteemed colleague of Brandel's and Lexi and Leopold and Frederick and Salamir. We're here to investigate what was going on. You can communicate with me telepathically, and this less savory character behind me will be able to hear us speak.
And from behind you, as you're making this communication here, well, get on with it already. We don't have all day. Finish up and get out.
He's already doing it, sir. Like I said, unique set of skills. If you'll be quiet, please.
And in this connection, Alan can reply, right, mentally?
Yeah. It's essentially a telepathic conversation.
Okay, yeah, and you'll hear him say, "Oh, Dell, yes, I think I haven't heard some of you. Yeah, this is terrible. So are you here to help get me out? I could use all the aid I could have, friend. Things are just very bad. I don't even know how this happened. I suddenly got swept up in all of this activity. They think I'm some type of criminal or something. I assure you, I had nothing to do with the matter."
That is in his mind ears. That is our goal to free your name, but understand what happened. But to do so, I'm going to cast a spell upon you that shouldn't harm you, but it'll compel you to speak the truth and just answer honestly, and we'll get your name cleared up in front of this oath.
Oh, okay, yes, I suppose that would be just fine. Do I have to do anything? I don't look presentable at all. And you see he's like kind of stands up and starts shaking, like scrubbing down his body.
You are fine the way you are. Just let the magic wash over you. And I'll cast Zone of Truth.
In your head, you hear, "Oh, yes, I remember this as like back in my educational days." But whoa, that's a strange feeling. Okay. Yes, I believe. That's a little prickly. So, what happens next?
Okay. Now I'm gonna use my voice to communicate with you.
Oh, okay.
And then Del speaks up with his voice so all can hear. Were you involved with the break-in at the words escape me? The one place. Yeah.
No, I certainly was not. I was simply there. I had nothing to do with any criminal activity. They simply said they saw me there and they came in and grabbed me. I had to trust me. I had nothing to do with this.
And what was your business there?
Oh, I was inquiring about one of the latest inventions I had heard rumor of, something that would allow me to clean the bar tables with much ease. Getting good help, of course, is not quite cheap these days. They all seem to want to have these delusions of grandeur. They don't stay around very long. They're always looking to improve themselves. I suppose it's all good for them and such, but, well, yes, this new invention was supposed to be able to clean the tables by itself. Can you imagine that? Having a clean bar and not having to pay the people to do it?
Sounds quite industrious.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Well, of course, I wouldn't just let the people go, of course. No, it's more time to wait on the customers and all.
Brandel, do you have any questions?
Yes, I do. You say you were barely involved, or not at all. What did you see? Can you describe what you saw?
Yes, it was quite strange, in fact, Brandon. Well, you see, I'd come in and I was just kind of poking around at some of the things that they had on display. You know, these writings and such. It's very high level. It's quite beyond my skill set, but, well, I tried to pick out little details here and there, things that looked quite of interest, and suddenly I was hearing all of these strange sounds, like kabooms and things. Quite odd, quite odd. And then these people just sort of rushed out past me, and one of them actually bumped into me and castigated into the ground. And, well, these priest-type people came in and grabbed the two of us and said, "Oh, we got you now." And, oh, it's terrible, just terrible.
Oh, the two of you. Who else got wrapped up? Their names, please.
I must be afraid I don't even know. I believe I saw them take him here, though. I don't know. I haven't seen him since, but I can't really see much from the cage now. Kind of, not a good view at all.
So, you went there alone?
Yes, of course. Well, as the proprietor of the Elsong Tavern, I, can't take too much staff with me. Have to keep the place open and all. Can't let the service wander. But, yes, I came to just take a look and see if I could get my hands on this latest, greatest invention. But, well, as you can see, maybe next time I'll just send somebody else in my place.
So these people who came in, can you describe them?
Well, it's very strange. You see, as I heard these strange sounds, and it was coming from, like, deeper in the temple. And, well, I was just looking at the wall, and suddenly I felt this brush against my body and spun around and collapsed. I think I did see, it was kind of like a metal man. I know that might sound quite odd indeed, but I've seen men wearing armor before, but this was like a metal man.
And one or a few?
Oh, well, I suppose it was at least the one. Was there more of them in front of him that I was not able to see? Yeah, I can't really say, I'm afraid. I did not really think I'd be asked to recite anything that occurred, so sorry, my mind's a little bit frazzled.
You're doing a very good job, by the way. Del, go on.
How did you gain entrance to the building?
Oh, I just came right through the front door. Yeah, you see, they have a little reception area there. It's I know there's quite a bit of secret stuff in the back, but up in the front, they're more than happy to discuss some of the wondrous things that they're thinking of creating. I suppose most of it's merely theory, not actually practical application quite yet, but, well, it's sales pitch and all gets you interested.
How often do you patronize this place?
Only once before, I think. Yes, what was it? What was the other thing? Oh, you're right. They said they had some type of mug that would actually walk back over to the counter and refill itself. And I said, marvelous. This would be quite interesting and entertaining. Well, can you imagine the people that line up and place their coins down just to see such a wonderful event? Well, of course, it didn't last too long. And when I tried to bring the blasted thing back, they said, oh, you bought it and it's at your own risk. So, well, yeah, that probably should have turned me off, but... who can turn down these inventions? It's such an interest. It brings people in.
What are the surface thoughts for detect thoughts for the helm?
I imagine mostly rambling about what, similar to what he's saying now, and like all these words he's holding back. Like maybe it was a metal man. Was he 6 feet tall, or maybe perhaps 6'1"? Maybe he was a bit wider than him. I can't tell him that. That won't make any sense. They'll know. And it's just kind of like a constant stream of consciousness.
Okay. What color was this metal man? Was he?
No. It's nothing so splendid. It's kind of dark, like an obsidian, perhaps. Yeah, it's kind of strange. In fact, yes, I suppose obsidian's probably the closest.
Cedric, have you ever heard of any of these obsidian metal men in your adventures in the shadows?
Doesn't sound too common. Alan, were you able to see any, did they have a coat of arms? Were they wearing anything in particular, items, iconography?
No, as I said, it was very strange indeed. Like I said, normally with a man wearing armor, of course, you see like the armor coming out, or the arm, I should say, coming out of the armor, right? There's holes and that sort of thing. This was like... if one piece of armor itself was just wrapped around a man. I can't really explain it. Quite odd. I've not seen anything like that, other than, of course, what my own particular... you know what I'm referring to, and you see he kind of looks over his shoulder, looking back towards the guy.
Alan, I have a way to view your thoughts. So I can see the picture that you've seen. So I would like to probe deeper into your thoughts, so that I can see this image for myself to maybe better explain.
Oh, well, I suppose that would be just fine. Yes, just fine. Hopefully you can get something better than I have.
All right, and so I'll use detect dots to probe deeper.
Okay, and I think Zone of Truth is not concentration, but then Detect Thoughts is, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, so similarly, go ahead and give me a blind check, and we're going to call this investigation as you're trying to siphon through his thoughts, or filter through his thoughts, and see if you can pick out anything of particular interest. Once again, constant stream of thought here, this just almost rambling. You get the impression that if this guy vocalized every thought he had, he would like never shut up ever. So it's just like almost getting hammered and bombarded. You do make out a little bit of an image, but it really doesn't provide much detail. You're almost just seeing kind of like a silhouette of a form while he was lying on the ground.
Okay, I'm gonna, Alan, please focus your thoughts on the metal man and push aside all of the other rabble.
And from behind you hear, "This is preposterous. Whatever it is that he is telling you, this you really believe any of this? And even if what he's saying has any kind of truth to it whatsoever, you think this is going to be positive proof to get him out of this cell? Where are you going with this?"
I have casted a spell that compels him to speak only the truth. I am
Oh,
currently reading
sure.
his thoughts as well.
Give
If
me
you have a problem with this, bring it up with Ravengard.
Give me a persuasion check, Dal. You notice he kind of looks towards you. "I don't even know why we're entertaining this nonsense. Go on, go on." You notice
Can I, since I'm like detecting thoughts and it's like an area, what are his thoughts in his head? The guards.
so the guy that you're looking, this sort of irritated gentleman, right?
Yeah, surface thought.
Go ahead and post detect thoughts for me again.
Yep, just let me find it.
He's probably thinking about my sweet mustache.
All right, so you look towards this guy trying to read surface thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
I just got to check one thing in particular here. I just want to make sure I'm not putting you in the wrong direction.
And I'm specifically looking for something that only he would kind of have in his head to say out loud to get him to shut up.
Okay, so surface thoughts. I am going to send this to you.
Okay.
I hope you're thinking for something like, man, I hope I don't get in trouble for this, or maybe I should let him go.
Okay. Is that supposed to be?
It's exactly what it's supposed to be.
Brandel, in your head, you hear this guard is super suspicious, and his thoughts are zeros and ones. And then I'll communicate that the same thing to Lexi and Ranvan and Cedric because I can see them. And then I want to go back to Alan and really try to hone in on the metal man.
Okay.
If possible.
Yeah, so you're trying to get him to focus, and he's trying, but you're sort of trying to dig into those thoughts and trying to make it out. But you can tell this is challenging for him because he's having a hard time focusing, and what you're trying to pick out just doesn't seem to be coming to you solidly.
Okay, fair enough. I'll go. Thank you, Alan, and we will talk to Ravengard on your behalf. I believe what you have told us is to be truthful. Can I insight check him just to see if I feel like he's being truth, even though the spell and everything?
You're talking about Alan in particular?
Yeah.
Sure, yeah, give me an insight check. Yeah, to the best of your knowledge, it certainly seems like he is being.
Okay. Thank you, Alan. And I'll toss him a ration. Because it looks like he hasn't eaten in a while.
And from behind you
Unless-
hear, you cannot give anything to the prisoners. And as you said,
Too late. I already did.
and you notice Alan looks at it and says, "Oh, this is quite nice, appreciate it. Thanks, chap."
I wanted to ask something before the spell dropped. I wanted to ask, is there anyone at the Elf Song that could verify for this, other than what our conversation? Did you tell anyone you were going there? Do you have a receipt for this mug that you bought before, proving that you were a patron, etc.? What can you actually prove? What do you think about this? Your life's in the balance here.
Prove that I bought the mug. Let's see. I suppose there's something back at the bar that would indicate such. Yes. Would the sworn testimony of a good friend count? Well, you see the cook. Yes, the cook saw. I purchased it. The cook was there. Oh, dreadful me. What was the cook's name? This is embarrassing. Well, you see, the cook, I just always call her Cook, but she's quite good at her job. I should probably learn her name and all. But yes, if you ask the cook, she could tell you that I bought it.
And did you tell her you were going there to buy this magical bar cleaning device?
Not those exact words, no. But I certainly told her that I would be out of the Elsong Tavern for a few hours, and to kind of watch over things. Some of the younger help, they get a little rambunctious, as they say. When the cat's away, the mouse will play, and all that.
Ah, okay, excellent. I don't know. I'm done, guys. If anyone else have any ideas?
Perhaps we go speak to the second one. Is he here?
Guard, what is your name again?
You see, he looks over towards you and he says, "You can call me Ulvin."
Uvin?
Ulvin. And you see, he looks at you intently.
Where's the other prisoner?
He is being kept on the other side. You wish to see him too?
Yes.
I imagine
Follow me. I don't want to hear any of your nonsense. Get out of the way. Move.
it's been a while since you've walked this much, huh, Uvin?
And I'll communicate to Leo what I communicated to everybody else in their heads about this guy's thoughts, this captain's thoughts, or whatever, Ulvin's thoughts.
Does that ring any bells or tip off anything with Leo when he hears this?
The name Ulvin?
No, when Dell is explaining all of the ones and zeros. I'm trying to figure out. I don't think Warforged or are in Faerun, technically, or are they?
Not particularly that I'm aware of. Give me I guess I'll say an Arcana check here.
While he's thinking about it, Cedric comes up and says, it's an old interrogation technique. You just think ones and zeros, and then if somebody's trying to intrude in your mind, they can't read your thoughts. Orange and apples, those work too.
So what I would say, based on this check, Leopold, you know that there are what sort of rings a bell for you here on this would be that there are some individual beings, typically constructs, that when created, in order to be able to communicate to others of their kind, they don't usually use words. They kind of communicate almost in a special language, you might think of it as, and it is typically very, very basic and numerical.
Was that a pun intended for basic?
Maybe.
I can't play with Adam anymore.
He speaks in decimals. Do you have one of those clocks that tell the time with, hex?
Hexadecimal? No, I'm not that certified. You'll notice he gets to here, and he points and he motions for this guard to step back, who does pretty quickly. And he says, that one right there. Looking inside here, you notice there is this appears to be like a half-orc man. You can see he's got like a short, like rogue type cut, meaning like short hair, but with a little bit of a ponytail out the back. He's wearing just like simple prison garb at this point. And you can see he's just kind of leaning backwards, looking towards you all. These little tiny tusks poking up above his lower lip.
What race is this character?
Half-orc.
Again? Half-orc, okay. What is your name?
You see he looks at you pretty intently. Who are you?
The one who shall be able to either free you or condemn you.
That means nothing to me, pale skin.
In his head, he'll hear, were you involved in the heist? And then as I ask that question, then I'll cast Zone of Truth.
You notice he sort of looks around, and he will attempt to resist this. You can tell that it does indeed affect him, but you see he just kind of grimaces as this happens, and almost kind of, you get this impression, you notice sometimes you get like that strange feeling that runs down the back of your neck. He kind of like starts crinkling his shoulders a little bit, and you see he just kind of grimaces, turns his eyes away from you and looks towards Lexi. What are you doing with that one? You look like you can take care of yourself. You need a wimp like that with you?
Don't call my friend a wimp. We might be able to help you.
Oh, is that so? Where are you from? Why are you even trying to help me? Who are you? What's going on?
You haven't heard of Lexi the Conqueror?
No. Should I have?
The Conqueror of Avernus.
What's Avernus?
Hell.
And you see he kind of smirks a bit and says, okay, I get it. Real fun. Is there somebody back there getting ready to laugh at my expense? You guys gonna throw another bucket of water on me?
Del pulls out one of his soul coins, kind of like palms it to the guy and puts it back.
Ooh, you got fancy money. What's that supposed to mean?
Alright.
Del.
Surface thoughts.
Yeah.
Surface thoughts would probably be annoyed and very does not trust you at all.
Okay. I'll switch spots with Brandel. And I'll have Brandel ask some questions.
I've got some questions too. Just
Excellent. Yes. So,
I'll switch spots with you too.
what's your name, sir?
And all the while, he's zoned to truth. I'm actually going to let's see here. I'm gonna cast Detect Thoughts, but with my spellcasting ability instead, and I'll just burn a third level slot for that.
Okay.
So the DC would be 17, and I'm gonna try to probe into his deeper thoughts.
Okay, yes, you are able to probe into his deeper thoughts. Go ahead and post that for me one more time, and then just let me know what it is that you're looking for. So, Brandel, as you ask this question, you see he looks towards you with a bit of a grin on his face, and he says, "You can call me Big Chief, prune face."
Big Chief. Oh, Big Chief of what?
Big Chief of your mama.
Oh, I see. Well,
I kind of like this guy.
yes, he's quite funny. So you're in quite of a pinch here. They're accusing you of stealing from the High Hall of Wonders. You may hang for this. Did you act alone? And maybe you could cooperate and, well, save your neck.
Oh my god, you sound like such a dweeb. Don't you have someone cooler that can talk to me?
Yes. Well, I'll just stand back over here. Maybe Lexi could have a shot.
Yeah, I get it. He's kind of a dweeb, and the other one was, odd. But listen, we're just trying to get to the bottom of this. Did you have something to do with it or not?
You see, he steps forward a bit and looks towards you, Lex. He says, "Okay, would have something to do with what exactly?"
Breaking into the House of Wonders.
And you said you might be able to help me get out of here. And of course, I'm supposed to trust that because
we don't like to see people who are not guilty sit in a cell. The other one, he claims he was innocent as well. What about you, sir?
Is that a shit stain on your face?
It is Hungarian, quite raw and nasty.
And you notice he chuckles. "Oh, okay. At least you can take a joke. All right, good. I like him a little better." Well, no, yeah, I wasn't. Well, when you say involved, I wasn't really involved. But I was there. Yeah, I was there.
Did you see anything?
I got eyes, don't I?
In Cedric's head, he hears, "This is Dell. We can communicate telepathically. Ask him to further explain why he's sort of involved."
Yeah, I've got an idea. Thanks. So, Frederick's gonna look and kind of scratch his neck and then look over at Lexi and say, "Look, Big Chief, you know that you've been invaded in your mind. You can see our companion here. She's quite strong. You see the blade she carries. We didn't
Yeah,
come
I
here
also see these
idly."
big bars on this cage that separate you and I, so I'm not too worried about it.
Mm-hmm. Sure. Who hired you, Big Chief?
Big money.
Cedric, in your mind, you hear Dell go, "Get him to talk about what he saw."
You said Big Money hired you. Does Big Money have a name?
Yeah, big money.
So, you admit you were hired to take this item?
I admit I was hired. I was working. I'm a working man. Yeah, that's what I do. Yeah, you see, some of us people, we got to do jobs to like make a living and buy stuff. We can't just, get off on our looks.
Cedric, you hear Dell go, "Ask him how he gained entrance to the place."
I'm just gonna like put my finger to my ear because I feel like that's how it works. I'm gonna say, Dill, I got this. I got this.
I've read his deeper thoughts. He wasn't there with the infiltrators. He was there on his own or through different means. Still criminal.
So, Big Money has a name. They hired you, paid you for completion of job, or paid you in advance?
I said I was hired. I didn't say I got paid.
That's why I'm asking. Were you gonna get paid upon completion of your job?
If it worked out, yeah, that's how it goes. You got to do the job before you get the money. Where's this guy from?
Well, you're just awfully resistant. If you answered my question squarely, I wouldn't have to lead you there like Hansel and Gretel.
Who and who?
Exactly. Now, the other one, he mentioned seeing something. When the incident happened, what did you see? Anything in particular that you remember?
Who's the other one? I'm the only one here.
Yes, in this cell, yes. But they arrested 2 people, sir.
The one he bumped into.
The one you bumped into.
Oh, yeah, the little guy. Yeah, what'd you ask about him?
He said he saw somebody, like a metal thing, metal man. Did you see the same?
Metal. I saw a guy wearing armor. It was like black armor. Metal man. Maybe, I don't know. It was just like a guy in armor, I thought.
Okay. And how did you gain entrance past the just waiting area? How'd you get inside?
I was in the reception area, if that's what you're asking.
Okay. And the black metal man, did he teleport out or use magic, or did he run out the front door?
He ran out the front door as best I saw.
And I'm assuming shortly after you were apprehended by some priest, yes?
Yep, that's about the skinny of it.
Perfect.
Did he? And then in your mind, Cedric, you hear doubt. Did he see anybody come through the teleportation circle by chance?
There's a teleportation circle in the room. Did you see anybody use it?
I don't even know what that is.
Did they tell you what you're being charged with? Do you have bail?
Nope, they just threw me in here and said they would come and tell me eventually.
You know, if you told us who hired you, we probably could help you a lot faster.
You know, if you had a blade that could cut through these and magic wings that could let me fly out of here, you could help me a lot too.
How about this? I'll match what they offer to pay you. If you tell us their name.
That was the end of your offer? Wow, how many ways can I say no? No.
So you're not in it for the gold then?
I'm not stupid, even though all you people tend to think half-orcs are stupid. I'm not. I know how this works. I can't get any money for... What am I going to do with money in here, right? Nothing. I'm in a cell. And if I give you knowledge, I'll be dead before I can spend your money, okay? I'm not dumb.
Cedric, in your mind, you hear, what was he there planning to steal? Or what crime was he planning to commit there?
What were you hired to do, Big Chief?
And you see he kind of just grins when his teeth raises above his little lower lip again, and he says, well, that's my business, isn't it?
It is your business, sure.
Dell takes a step forward and makes a mental connection and goes with this prisoner, and he goes, what were your intentions there? If they are less than what was caused, we will be able to put in a good word for you. Well, this oaf behind me won't be able to hear our conversation.
Your
Just-
kind never put in good words for my kind.
I travel with a half orc. She has saved my life, and I have saved hers.
Give me a persuasion check.
It's like literally the last person in my party I'd want to fight one-on-one. It would be Lexi.
Yeah.
You see he kind of casts a glance towards her and looks back towards Udell and says, we're not all the same. You maybe look out for her because she saved your skin. What do you got for me?
I grab a ration and I threw it through the bars at him.
You see he looks down at, oh, wow. Gee, thanks.
Well, if he's not going to give up any more information, I think we've got all that we can out of him.
Can since I'm deep in his thoughts, and we are asking him about what he was there to do, would I have been able to pick anything up from it?
Let me just read the spell real quick. Okay, so as you've been speaking to him, he would get to make an intelligence check contested by your intelligence check to try to end this spell. So he will roll intelligence. And yes, he will be able to stop the spell. So as you're probing into his mind, you can see him shaking his head and shrugging, and suddenly the connection breaks.
Okay. Dell will turn the corner, and he was more than likely not involved with the teleportation circle, but he doesn't want to necessarily be very cooperative either. He was there to commit some sort of crime, but what crime I cannot discern.
Thank you for confirming what we already knew.
Yeah, go fuck yourself.
And you notice he kind of looks at you, grimacing.
And he hears that in his head,
Oh, okay, fair
not out
enough.
loud.
All right, are you done now? Can you guys leave my dungeon? I think you've had enough time here.
Actually, I believe Leopold had something he wanted to ask you, Ulvan, if you'll be so kind.
Yeah, just one thing, old man. I was wondering how long you've been a construct, your entire life, or were you turned into that?
Is this some kind of stupid persuasion tactics that you're now trying?
Well, you see, here's the thing of it. My friend over there can read thoughts, and when he read yours, they weren't thoughts. They were ones and zeros, which I take to mean that you don't have a regular brain like the rest of us.
I take it to mean that you're quite insane and you can get out of my dungeon now.
I take it, since you're not admitting to it, that no one else knows that you're a construct. I'll look at the guard next to me and I'll say, I don't suppose you've heard anything about that, have you?
And you see he kind of looks towards you nervous and looks over towards Ulven and looks back towards you and kind of just blinks and does this like swallow as he's looking at you. You can tell he's trying not to answer or even meet your gaze.
In this time, I'm just going to relay all of the information that I gleaned to Brandel.
Okay.
Like telepathic communications and whatnot, and like what I gleaned reading him. And then I'm going to ask for the box, and I got to get going. So Dell will jump in the box and pull out Gertrude.
All right, good deal. So, Brandel, you hand over the box, and you notice Dell does this pretty familiar with this functionality at this point. And as he does so, Dell will vanish inside of the box and suddenly is replaced by Gertrude.
It's like Dell had his fill of social interaction and he has to go.
Yeah. Dell's out of words.
Bye, Brett. I'll look over Brandel. You haven't had time to copy that scroll I bought you, have you?
No, sadly, I was looking over my purchases and we got rudely interrupted by this ungracious city.
Actually kind of fortuitous. I'd say go ahead and use it and contact Oldar, because I think he's got a spy that works in his dungeon here.
Oh, very well. I'll do that, Adam.
All right, so you pull the scroll out and you expend the scroll. So go ahead and remove that from your sheet. And I think you get 25 words to send to Alder Ravengard. So make sure you just type out what it is exactly you're saying.
Oh, God.
Make sure the last 5 are 01010.
Or are you pooping? That's a critical role.
Okay, I'll put it in public here, I guess. I would say. He knows it's me, right? I don't have to waste words with that.
He will know,
yeah.
Yes.
Okay, I'll say, I don't have to say his name then. I'll say, I'm going to try to type it in here. I'm just going to tell him that UH.
Then I think it's too many U names in this game. As we all watch Brandel.
Sorry.
The epic activity of typing out a sending spell. Yeah, we can move on, obviously, while he's doing that, unless you guys are contingent upon whatever he's saying.
No, I think that's going to work out. So I'll look back at Old Man and say, all right, so the jig is up. Do you want to have a fight now, or are you going to try and run? What's your plan?
My plan is to once again reiterate to get out of the dungeon. You have no legal authority here. This script simply stated to allow you access to the infiltrators. You have been granted access. Now you're being asked to leave. Do I need to call the guards?
Well, we're calling Oldar. I think he's the guard of the guards. So why don't we let him?
That would be more than satisfactory. I'll be happy to see him put you in these cells. In fact, I've got a few open right now.
Is there any reason why you won't answer his question about being a construct or not?
Because it is a ludicrous question?
So a simple no should be sufficient, don't you think?
And if I say no, does that mean you're going to leave?
No, I'm
Not
sorry.
necessarily, no.
So what's the point?
Well, you
What
could be
happened?
on the record denying it.
What
I've,
happens if you pour water on a construct? Do the ones become zeros and the zeros become ones?
you notice he actually slaps his head with a gauntlet. You must be some of the dumbest people I've ever seen come through here.
I have some holy water.
This has escalated quite a bit now. Why don't we start to take our leave? Ulvin, there's no chance I could still talk to the man in the cell, is there? Have we burned that bridge?
Which man are you referring to? Haven't you spent enough time here already?
This one just around the corner. I've only heard him. I haven't had a chance to see or talk to him yet.
I'll tell you what. Send all of your friends out of here, and then you can have a few minutes with him.
I know that we like to escalate, but if we're right, then speaking to the head guard will be the fastest way to get what we want. If we stay here, we're likely to just get thrown in for causing a disturbance, even if we are correct, right?
What? I couldn't follow that line of logic. What are you talking about?
I don't entirely know what my friends think that the jig is here. One of them said the jig is up. I wasn't following, but they think they have some kind of solution, but why not just follow the right legal paths, right?
The right legal paths are you've been given access to the infiltrators, much as the script from Alder indicated you should be given. That is now complete. Be on your way.
Brandel, has Oldar replied to you yet?
No, it seems to be quite silent. Sadly, I'm sure it went through. Adam, I have it in that text there.
Um.
In R20, I put it in public.
Oh, no, I was just
yeah.
double checking the description of the spell. Okay, so it says, and can
Yeah, he
answer
can.
in a like
Yep.
manner immediately. Got it. Okay.
Sorry. Should have mentioned that.
I see. Okay. Very well. Let's go. You're right. We've taken too much of your time, and we should make our way to the front. Let's go.
Oh, Leo kind of gets the idea, but just looks at Brandel to confirm.
I do a nod and say yes.
It. Supposed to look up.
So I can't telepathically. I don't have message. Do I have message? I have it. I don't know if I prepared it. I don't have it prepared. Okay, cool.
Okay, and I'll be right out behind you guys if I don't get kicked out.
So right here, he's good far away. I'm gonna whisper to Leo and say, Oldar said, meet us at the front. He says, how curious. I'll be there shortly. Wait me outside the dungeons.
Ranvan, why don't you actually not? I tell you what, Ranvan, come with us. We'll come and talk to this guy another time. Just trust me on this.
Leo, I trust you plenty, but I feel like I need to speak to this man now.
No, the thing of it is that I think you're going to be in danger if you stay here by yourself without us. Understand what I'm trying to say now plainly?
Well, how?
In fact, it's not so much a thought that I have. I think it's a certainty. So,
Him saying that, I'll eye up Ulvin. Does it look like does he have a weapon on him?
He does, yes. You can see he has, I believe it's a great sword on his back. Yes,
And
great sword.
what about the guy to my left who's he's heard this altercation go down? What's the vibe he's given off?
nervous person that wishes he was anywhere else right now. He is like trying to almost shrink and be as small as possible.
Well, then am I going to be in danger if I talk to that man?
Not from me.
It's from him, Ranvan. It's from him.
He just said no.
Ranvan, is it? Your friends here are obviously insane. Feel free to speak to him if you wish. You can come back later as well. Apparently I have some master plan to kill you. But, yes, you can either speak to him now or come back later. I could care less.
Satisfied now, Ranvan? Let's go. We've troubled this man long enough.
Is there a bathroom in this piece?
Okay, Ramblin will sigh and call around the corner and say, I didn't get a chance to catch your name, but I promise I'll come back to talk to you.
Can't wait. Whoa.
Leo's going to say to the guard, also not Olan, the other guard, make sure you don't leave your post. Thank you.
As you ask that, Cedric, you notice the two of them kind of eye you a bit suspiciously. The one that has a bow looks and says, back out from the dungeons, you'll find there's an outhouse outside.
Oh, thank you. Toilet tissue. Yes?
Whatever's out there, man. I don't stock the outhouse.
Just a wet towel.
Thanks, man. And look, I feel for you guys working under that Uvan. He must never sleep or eat or drink or anything, huh?
And you see he looks really confused. What are you talking about? Of course he eats and drinks. In fact, we actually had a small celebration just yesterday. Up around the corner here. We all partook. It was kind of nice.
It's good. You all partook. Did you visibly see him eat and drink?
You see he looks towards the guy next to him. What are you on? What are you getting at?
He offered me some food, and now I've really got the shits. So I'm curious, did he eat what you guys had yesterday? Did you see him eat it?
Yeah, we all had some of the cookies.
But did you actually watch him eat a cookie?
And you see he looks at you again. He says, yes? What are you getting at?
Must have been a good cookie. Thank you. You said out back, yeah?
Out the front, the way you came in, and then you'll find the outhouses around the corner.
Sounds good. I'm gonna just pretend to be lost at him.
Leo, you've got some explaining to do when we get out of here. You better have a good reason for why you thought what you thought.
I'm pretty sure I do.
Where are we going?
To the front to meet Ravengard, right?
I'm troubled at the directions. Is it... Hey, excuse me, good sir. How do we get to the front, please?
Just head south out that way. You can find the main area.
Thank you, good sir.
As you ask Cedric to the one I assume in the corner, you notice this one leading the bow looks towards you and just kind of points you back the way you came. All right, safe to presume you guys are all exiting the dungeons now?
Yep.
Before we do, I'm gonna look at Brenda and I say, hey, look, I know you said Ravengard's waiting for us out front. Oh, this guy's following us. Let's just go out front then, yeah?
Yes.
All right, so you guys exit out of the dungeons and make your way out front. All right, yeah, it's you're kind of out here. You exit. You can see that there's this, spiral staircase to get you out. You walk out. You can see the water. Again, rushing up against the shore. Start making your way out from the kind of section here. There's like this triple tower, so you're making your way along the shoreline. And yeah, you're only walking for a few minutes before you can see a small contingent with Alder Ravengard at the front, and you can see that there are 4 Flaming Fist soldiers behind him. and you see he approaches and kind of notices you and makes a beeline right for you. And as he approaches, you see he puts a hand down towards the blade at his side. Explain yourselves. I heard the message, but can this really be true? This sounds so strange.
Leo?
Our friend Dell, who the whole reason we came over here was his ability to read minds. We were encountering quite a bit of resistance from Olvan, and on a whim, he just decided to see if he could discover the source of his consternation. And trying to detect his thoughts instead of words, he only heard zeros and ones, which, long story short, that's essentially a sign of a construct, mental brain, I suppose. We people, or orcs, humanoids in general, we all think in words, but constructs, the ones that are able to think for themselves, are all zeros and ones. I asked him about it, and in the thought that, well, perhaps, constructs, they can get jobs too, certainly, but he was rather adamant about not being one, and well, I have a feeling something's going on there.
Yes, that certainly sounds curious. I don't suppose you know of any tests or something that can be performed to determine such a thing.
Do I?
Well, I know a few things about constructs. I'm quite sure that they can't be put to sleep, right?
Ah, correct. And so they can't be poisoned, generally, or charmed.
I have poison on me now. Let's go poison him. I can do that very efficiently.
Well, if you're wrong, you'd kill a man.
It wouldn't kill him. He'll just be pretty sick for a few hours.
He'll have the shits.
Perhaps we could find something a little less violent and a bit more conclusive.
Fair enough, but look, poison is on the table. I have it.
Reva must be pacing beside himself.
I don't suppose anyone can put someone to sleep right now.
I can't at the moment. I would have the ability, but I have to upcast it quite a bit, depending on his virile fight to live with his hit points.
What about, do they bleed? If you were to slice their hand, and I pull my short sword out and then I cut my hand a little bit and it starts to bleed like this, right? Can they do that?
That was dramatic. I don't know. There could be, I guess, a living body over the construct part. Some sort of infiltrator, Terminator machine construct. I don't know.
I thought you were going to say something like some 1000 model or.
Yeah. But I think that's a possibility. I'm looking through all of my gadgets I have prepared right now.
I'm sure I could find a few herbs to brew a tonic, or we could buy one. Are we sure we don't want to just poison him?
Gang, I feel like I'm missing some key point. Let's say that this man is a construct. How do we know that he's all these other things as well?
Well, Ranvan, if he was a friendly construct, don't you think he wouldn't have an issue telling us?
Uldar, are there other constructs in this city?
I would presume so, but none. I mean, the High House of Wonders probably has something to that degree.
And that's
How
that's the point.
Are the constructs treated in this city?
There's not enough of them, and constructs are usually not humanoids. It's usually, some I've seen some and you see he points over towards Silver, kind of like that.
So if you wanted to fit in as a construct, what would you do?
I don't know how to answer that. I don't know what constructs do. I mean, generally, I guess I'm always presumed that they were just kind of under the control of whoever created them.
My the reason my hackles are all up on this, Ranvan, the people that were directly involved in the House of Wonders caper are here, where this construct is specifically here as well. And as Oldar mentioned, there are some, but not any that are humanoid-like that can talk like that. So I think the coincidences are too much to ignore.
Well, it's the perfect plan. You had the guy in armor dude, who wasn't really a dude, actually at the house that stole the thing, and then arrested Alan and that orc guy as a cover. And now he's guarding him.
Exactly, Lexi.
Adam, was Ovan's armor black?
No, it was not.
That's basically the sum of it, Mr. Ravengard, that Lexi so eloquently put.
I
think
I
Alan
certainly
is
agree
innocent.
that it sounds quite strange, and likely there is something more than meets the eye that's going on, but I don't know that this is enough proof for me to subject the man to poison.
True. I will tell you this. Successfully, we were entered a truth with Alan, and he is innocent. He was there shopping and got struck up and was the scapegoat in this caper. Construct is guarding him, and held under really trumped up charges, to be honest.
And it appears the other gentleman, he was also not part of this particular heist, but he was there. He was hired by somebody to partake in some kind of activity. We were unable to discern. He wasn't as truthful as the other one was, but he was unable to resist. We did find out he was hired by someone to do something, and he was caught up. He saw a metal man, black metal armor, running away.
Wow, that's just endemic of this city. He was there to commit a crime, but not the same crime. I guess we haven't come as far as I thought.
Probably not, sir. But if it makes you feel better, I have ulterior methods other than poison. I could perhaps go invisible and sneak in and see if maybe I can listen and watch. You could also come with us. Ask him yourself.
I mean, I can certainly ask him questions, but unless there's some obvious tell, this is going to be quite difficult to charge him with some kind of crime or make a declaration that he is not who he says he is. Isn't it possible that there's something else at play that may not explain exactly the way you think this is occurring? I mean, if I have to take this up through and try to get this approved and this kind of charge, they're going to want something concrete.
Adam,
So,
Yes.
is the as I've been going through my spell list trying to think of something. I don't know. Is there something that Leo hasn't thought that Matt hasn't thought of that Leo would have thought of in terms of fleshing out constructs?
So
in
there are a
general?
lot of different types of constructs. Some of them share some similarities. But yeah, your first thought would be that if he is like an actual construct, then likely the skin would not be real skin, or it would just be like an illusion or a fake set of skin over some type of other material. There very rarely are constructs made of flesh, like a flesh golem, but that's so rare, and you don't suspect that would be the scenario. So, I mean, again, obviously, if you could somehow cut into his arm, or if you had some tool that maybe like a magnet, if you thought maybe he's made of metal and it was strong enough, and see if it would connect, like certainly something along those lines.
Hey, Leo, what if I dispelled magic on him? Do you think that would work?
that's a good idea. It wouldn't harm him, Mr. Ravengard. And if it is an illusion, then it would dispel it. If not, then we know it may be more physical.
Also, it was like a voice just kind of gave me one idea. Adam, can I make an electromagnet out of my copper cowbell and casting shocking grasp on it?
I mean, I have no idea scientifically how that works, but it sounds cool, so I'm willing to give you a chance.
I mean, really, that's kind of it. You get copper wire and you like put a charge through it. Well, you have magnets, but I think that would work. That
I
sounds cool.
It sure does. Yeah, no, I think that sounds very cool. I would say that would be like a tinkerer's tool check. So yeah, if you were nearby him and used a tinkerer's tool check and you succeed at that, I would say you could do that for to determine whether or not there was any kind of magnetic to it.
All right. So that's another possibility. I think I can figure out that if we get close back to him. So that's two things. Also, maybe Brandel, you can just detect and see if there's any magical aura around him.
Yes, I could definitely do that. I thought about that, but I was wondering how the magics were part of a construct. If they're still there, that would be able to detect it. But that's a good idea. We have three things.
How does that sound, Oldar?
And at the absolute back end of everything, I can always poison it. Very effective.
I'm more than willing to walk in there with you and explain that you have my trust for everything that you've done and everything I've witnessed that your group has done, and see if I can't get him to be a bit more cooperative. But as I said, it can't be anything that is dangerous or is going to harm him. This contraption that you're referring to, and you see he looks towards you, Leopold, what would happen? Explain to me. So if you're correct, then it will line up, and you're not explaining it after the fact. Explain to me now what exactly you think would happen.
Well, I take out my copper cowbell, which I had gotten from I think the Hag's lair back in Avernus. So this would it would take a charge of electricity from another of my gadgets.
You see, he's already looking confused. He's like, maybe I should have explained this differently. What's the end result? Is there going to be like a flash? Is he going to turn white if he is a construct? What's the obvious indicator?
If he's made out of metal at all, this will stick to him and will be very hard to remove.
Okay, so if it sticks to him and it would not stick to just a regular person, can you demonstrate that now that it doesn't stick to one of yourselves?
Sure. Here. Do it on me, Leo. Go ahead.
All right. Can I try this?
Yeah, give me a Tinker's Tool check as you attempt to give a charge and make this magnetic copper wire.
And also, I guess when you said earlier that the expertise didn't go through, I do have expertise on my tools.
And this would be an intelligence check, right?
Right. And then I'm going to throw a flash of genius on there because
why not, right? Yeah, so yes, you do this, and you can see that after it charges up, it certainly seems like it has worked, and no, it does not stick to Cedric.
If it's still got a little charge, can I put it on someone's sword that they're wearing?
Does this stick to silver?
Yeah, silver.
Yeah, we'll say it does, and indeed, you notice it sticks, and it's actually a little bit hard to pull away for this short bit of time that the current's running through it. And you notice Alder actually steps forward, and you see he gives it a tug, and he says, "Oh, okay, this makes sense." So, yes, I would agree that if this somehow works on him, then, well, what if he's wearing armor?
We'll ask him to take the armor off. A glove, perhaps?
Or his face. Put it on his face.
Yeah, no, I suppose and you see he looks towards Cedric, I suppose the glove can easily be taken off. That's not a problem.
I like Cedric.
Raven God, if he is, in fact, a spy, can I please punch him?
If he is somehow made of metal after his gauntlet is removed, we will certainly need to subdue him.
I'm on it. I'll poison him then.
If he is made of metal, would poison even do anything? Didn't we just have this discussion?
It might not work, Cedric.
My poison always works. I meant to tell you guys that. It always works. Always. No matter what. But,
Then
yeah,
how would that have proved that he was a construct?
it would have just made it a lot more fun.
Perhaps you should wait outside as we conduct these things. We want to make sure this is done by the rule book.
Okay, look, I'm good. I just haven't been in a good fight in a while.
Oh, that storm giant in the water wasn't enough for you, huh?
It was like 12 seconds, man.
Let's go. Elder, this is obviously some urgency. Let's get in. If you agree with the plan, we should move very quickly.
Yes, and you notice he motions for his men, and he says, "We will take the lead, follow behind us. I'll see if we can't get to the bottom of this."
Excellent.
All right. You notice he enters with his men behind him, and you guys, I assume, follow behind as well, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yes.
All right. Yeah, and you notice you get a much different reaction now with Alder Ravengard at the front of your group. He just kind of motions on in, waving some folks away. Pretty quickly, you notice Ulvin here as he notices Ravengard approaching, and you notice he gets this look on his face like, you got to be kidding me. And you see Alder approaches him and looks towards him, and you can hear this kind of conversation between them rather than me talking to myself here. The sum and substance of this is him laying that, I know this is probably ridiculous, but just for my own sake of mind and, mental, assurance that this is not going to occur. It's not going to hurt you. I just saw it being performed on somebody else. We just want to confirm this. And you notice Alvin looks to be quite nonplussed, but he, he doesn't fight it or whatever. He pulls a gauntlet off, and you see he looks towards you with like just daggers in his eyes, Leopold, as he holds a hand out.
All right, here we go. I'll do everything I did before, and I'll flash a genius it for sure.
All right, yeah, go ahead and make another check.
I feel like although it's a very serious situation, Leopold is awfully excited to try out an experiment.
Matt is too.
All right, as this copper wire has charged up and you get it closer towards his hand, your eyes paying very close attention, looking to see if this sticks and is any way glued there like a metal. You place it, and then perhaps with a bit of disappointment, you notice that it does not stick to him.
Well, hell.
And you notice he now turns back to Alder Ravengard and he says, I suppose this means that your experiment was a failure. I hope you will not place your trust in these individuals once again, Commander. And you notice Alder Ravengard looks at him and says, calm down, it's fine. We just had to be sure. And you see he looks back towards you, Leopold, and he says, are we sure?
And Leo put the thing by his face.
Do you make like you're starting to do that?
I'm gonna just maybe not like plant it on his face, but I'm gonna lift it up and see if there's any tugs as it gets closer to his noggin.
You notice as you kind of start bringing it closer to him, he does step back as he's not really sure what you're doing, and you don't feel any immediate tugs as you're kind of raising it that way. And Alder Ravengard looks towards you and he says, calm down, calm down. We've learned what we came to learn. It sounds like this line of inquiry was not correct.
And I cast that with my wand at him.
Okay, yeah. So you pull your wand out and you shake it and kind of make it effective. You notice Alder kind of look in your direction and gives you kind of this like shrug. You can detect that there is some magic all on your companions, of course. Let me see if Alder Ravengard has anything magical. Nothing obviously magical on him. On Ulvin, you can detect a magical aura on his waist.
Leo, check his belt. Actually, what I'm going to do, how long does your tinker, your little construct work? I'm going to... Oh, Mr. Ravengard, there's something magic. What's on your belt, sir?
And you see he looks towards Alder Ravengard, and you see Alder Ravengard's nods, and he looks back towards you, and he says, that would be a potion of healing.
Oh, so it's not the belt. It's just whatever's on the belt?
This aura seems to be coming from his side, and there's like pouches and sacks there.
Well, show us, please.
And you notice very angrily he just starts pulling at these very dramatically as he undoes this tie, and you see he pulls out a vial and shows it to you. Luckily we have you to enforce the law around here and come after me instead of out there after the criminals.
Is it just the potion now that he's kept it from the bag?
Yes, it is just the potion.
Leopold can constructs drink potions.
And you notice he turns right to Alder Ravengard and says, how long are you going to let this go on? This is embarrassing. And Alder Ravengard looks toward you all and he says, guys, I'm afraid I must agree with Ulvin. It seems as though your line of inquiry was incorrect. I suggest we leave Ulvin to his work. He has much to do here.
Oh, wait, hold on. Before we go, Leopold, Brandel, you two should apologize.
What?
You were obviously wrong. Apologize to the man.
Well, I don't like being wrong. You see, I'm an associate researcher at the high libraries of Candlekeep. If I'm wrong, then somehow the world just doesn't seem right.
That was the
actually, we're
most
not
piss
wrong.
poor attitude of most piss poor of an apology I've ever heard.
And we're not wrong. There's just something else going on here that we're not sure.
God, I mean, should I cast it to spell magic on him? I mean, there's no magic on him though, right? I mean, it would be useless. I'm not going to do that.
Is this an existential thought?
Yeah, I'm thinking that's the only thing magical on him, Leo. It's just his healing potion. I can't dispel anything on him. Nothing's magical.
Sometimes certain illusion magics don't appear magical.
Can I Rima check that, Adam? Can I see if that's true?
I don't think you
What
have
Leo
Reba
said?
in this campaign.
Yeah. No, can I do an Arcana check? Is that true? Are there times when spells can't be detected by my detect magic?
Without even making you roll, yes. If there's like a spell that intentionally is shielded from divination magic, then yeah, you wouldn't be able to detect it.
Would I be able to dispel divination magic? Let me read that.
Yeah, if it's magic, even if you can't detect it, you potentially could dispel it. Yep.
So I'm going to choose a creature and cast Dispel Magic.
All right,
Let's
so go
go.
ahead and post this. So I assume this has verbal and somatic components.
Verbal and Somatic, yep.
All right, so again, for visual purposes here, you've been asked to leave. Alder's trying to get you to move out here. You begin to motion with your hands and incant this spell, and you cast the spell magic. And obviously, I assume you're targeting Ulvin.
Yes.
Yeah, it hits him. It doesn't seem like it does anything. Go ahead and post that so you burn the spell slot. You notice Alder looks at you and he says, I must insist, Brandel. Let us leave now. We have tarried here long enough. And you see he looks towards Ulvin and he says, I apologize for this. And you see Ulvin shakes his head and he says, do not trust these people, Commander. They are insane. I don't know why you have even... And you see he nods and says, I understand. We had some very positive experiences in the past. These folks helped out many, many people. So perhaps they were wrong in this intention. But I can tell you that their intentions themselves are not bad. They may have just had bad information. And you notice Alvin's still shaking his head and he says, I understand. I'll come back and speak to you later. And you see Alvin just very angrily turns and walks away.
Hold! Leo, Randall, if you two don't apologize, we're gonna have beef when we leave here.
Alder
We're
looks
not
back
wrong.
and says, let us move out now.
And I'll leave.
Yep, we're going.
All right, you guys exit once again, and you notice as you make your way out here, much of a different, more somber type mood at this point, as Alder is kind of steaming as he steps out, and you see he looks at you guys and he says, now understand, I've trusted you guys in the past, and I've given you the benefit of the doubt here. I understand everything you said. It makes sense why you had these thoughts. I certainly understand why your mind was on these wavelengths, but I told you we had to do this carefully. And once we were inside, you did not follow my commands. You've lost my trust. You have to do this very carefully. Do you understand how long this is going to take now to repair this relationship? And if I can't trust the people that are working for me in the dungeons, everything can go to hell in this sector.
Oh, I apologize to you, Mr. Older, Ravengard. Our intentions, as you are correct, we're taking care of you in your charge here. I trust Leo, and something about that man is incorrect. But we'll take our leave and apologize to you. Sorry for this inconvenience.
Rambo stands up, also in the parenting child fashion beside Uldar, and he'll be like, "Yeah, you guys really messed up here. I'm on the side of justice. I want justice to be brought about. If the men in there are innocent, and if that man is the culprit, then we'll figure that out. But before we know that information, we can't just go attacking people or trying to ruin their lives on the off chance that we're right."
We call attacking anyone inside, and I don't think him defending himself in that way was ruining his life.
Do you think that that man is going to have the same work experience now with all the people that he has to work with? That now that everyone's going to be joking around that he's some kind of robot man?
Yeah,
Uh,
he was an asshole.
yeah,
Who
from a
cares about
guess,
that guy?
I don't think it wasn't really working out that well to begin with.
Yeah, fuck that guy. Something's wrong with him. And we'll prove it to Ravengard eventually. That's
Mr.
embarrassing.
and Mr. Ravengard. These are the three things we agreed with. We didn't go out of bounds from that. Detect magic, use the wand, and use the thing. Maybe I should have dispelled his magic first, and then he could have applied the magnet. Ugh, I think
We
we
did
did it
not
out of order.
agree to anything to do with detect magic or your wand. We agreed that Leopold here would do his test, and that would confirm one way or the other. Once that did not work, you pushed the issue further, then you waved your wand about, then you cast a spell. Again, if I can't trust you to follow my orders, you are here under my protection, following my instruction, and I want to help you. I think, again, there is obviously something going on here, but we can't go at this half-cocked. We have to be very well planned. There's no way to do this well now because we've just destroyed that relationship. It is going to take me quite a long time to repair it, if it is even possible.
Oh, I'm sorry, guys. I thought those are the three things we were going to do. Sorry.
Ranvon just stands like nodding beside him.
Now, I understand it can be difficult to be wrong, but it seems you saw it with your own eyes, unless you have some explanation for why you think you could still be right and there's something even stranger going on. It seems to me it's time to call this quits.
I tend to agree, but Alan's innocent. He was in a zone of truth and told us the truth. He was in the wrong place at the wrong time. And that half-orc, he's a criminal.
But he is also innocent of the crime that he is being charged for currently. He doesn't deserve to be in there.
I will certainly take that information under advisement. As I'm sure you're aware, we can't rely simply on zones of truth and not by external actors. But once he is taken before and sees a magistrate, I will make sure to indicate that a zone of truth spell was cast by some trustworthy individuals and that his words were indeed true. They usually look favorably upon that, but frequently they want to have that proven themselves. They will then call for somebody that can cast a spell that is under payment, working for the bureaucracy, and we can get those things vetted out. But assuming there's no funny business, it sounds to me like he will be released fairly soon.
Mr. Ravengard, can I ask you a question? Maybe
Yes?
connected or not connected, I'm not quite sure, but when we were crossing the causeway to get to the sea tower, there was two individuals who bumped into each other, and a magical explosion happened, and we had to fight off a water elemental, flying sea creature guy, and a green snake. Are these issues common in your city now, or is this fairly new?
Not common at all. That sounds incredibly out of this world. Some kind of magical mishap, I presume?
That's what we presume as well, yes. They seem to have collided or maybe dropped the item and it shattered, producing these three creatures. And upon slaying them, they turned into this oozy material. Um, you wouldn't know anybody that has access to items like that, do you?
My first thought would be to go check over at Sorcerer's Sundries. It's a shop that sells some magical odds and ends. The proprietor there is pretty familiar with different exotic magical things. Might be able to give you some additional clues. I'd be interested myself to hear what that was.
Okay, thank you. And look, we're sorry if we embarrassed you or caused you any issues there. However,
There is no however. I understand your zeal. Again, I understand it, but if you had just worked this out with me beforehand and said, here are the things that we want to do, I could have explained it to him that way, and then it would have been fine. But you guys went beyond our mandate. So, I have to be able to trust you if I'm going to put you under my word. So, again, it's just disappointing, but I understand that your mentality was in the right mindset. You were trying to do the right thing, but you can't go off and go beyond the mandate of what we agreed.
I completely understand. I just want to point out that I myself, Cedric, did not poison him like I wanted to. So I controlled myself.
Well, yes, but understand, had you done that, we would have arrested you because I specifically told you not to do that. That would be an act of violence, and you would be in the cells.
Exactly. And I follow orders well. So if you were to perhaps order me to go invisible and keep an eye on him, maybe I could do just that.
If I thought that had any way of being successful, I might ask you to do just something like that. But again, there's something obviously that's missing. You say this friend of yours was able to detect these thoughts, and what you describe certainly does not sound rational or normal. So that tells me that there is something odd going on. But again, I need some kind of proof to be able to take any action. Again, if you have any other thoughts about how to accomplish this, about how to obtain this proof, I'm all ears, but it has to be done by the book.
I think we need to go talk to the Hall of Wonders and see exactly what was broken there, and if something like this makes sense to the people that work there.
That seems like a good idea, yes. If there's anybody that has knowledge of these types of things, I'm sure it would be the priests of the High Hall of Wonders. High House of Wonders.
And you keep referring to this book, do it by the book. Do you have a book that we can use as a guide? Is that what you're saying?
We definitely have a rule book. We generally don't have to hand them out. It's mostly common sense things like don't attack or poison people, don't steal from them, don't hurt them, that type of thing.
Okay. I'm not used to that. I'll take notes. I gotcha.
And you see he looks towards Brandel and says, if he's with you, make sure that he is aware of the rules around here. I don't want to have to be throwing him right back in the dungeons.
Oh, yes, agreed. Yeah, yes. We'll mind our P's and Q's.
All right. Well, I wish that had gone better, but if you find anything out, you know where I'm at. Men. You see he turns and starts walking, and his men follow closely behind him.
Randon, I understand this is very frustrating, but I trust Leo. He's an artificer, and there are great magics. I presume the high priest at the Hall of Wonders might have created a construct that's beyond our capability of detecting. It's not that fantastic. Yeah, trust Leo.
I'm
also
not
wonder-
saying that you're wrong. I just don't believe that you're right yet.
I'm thinking now, Cedric, you asked them if they had seen, what's his name, Ovan eat and drink. Yeah, I don't know. There's too many unknowns. I think we just have to go and ask them what the hell is going on over there.
I can always bake him some poison cookies. 2 birds, 1 stone. Two
Might get
birds, 1
there
cookie.
eventually, but I don't think yet.
I know you gotta break a few eggs to make an omelet. Let's go talk to these idiots over at the Wonder House.
Can we agree to handle situations from now on with a little more tact? Like, if we think that someone might be bad but don't have all the proof, to maybe not accuse them right then and there, go gather some more without them knowing someone's on their trail, at the very least?
Well, it's a good point, Ranvon. Certainly now the gig's up, and we've lost the element of surprise, and that is a very astute point. Agreed.
And Leopold, I don't know what to say to you, except that I really used to respect how smart you were.
I'm not going to respond to that, Ranvon.
Well, wait a minute. It's Dell that got us into this mess. He's the 1-0s guy.
Yes, I think
Yeah.
we're missing something here in the middle. We skipped a step.
Brendo, let me see that box. Is he in there? Let me see it.
Well, careful. Okay, yes, here's the box.
And I'm gonna click it, and I'm gonna go inside at him, because I gotta miss next week, guys. I'm moving, so bloop. Cedric is gonna pop in, thinking that if he goes in there, he can talk to Dale and get to the bottom of it.
He can, but it's going to be kind of interesting because inside of the box, being that it's usually Gertrude and Philorane in there, it's very like romantic kind of setup. So he will find himself suddenly in an artificial environment almost where everything's, perfect sunsets and beautiful smelling flowers and nice water washing up on the shore, and him and Dell there kind of looking at each other awkwardly.
and I've got this really nice mustache too.
Yeah, yes, indeed. All right. Okay, at that same time, Philarain will pop out. You guys have seen him a couple of times, or actually maybe just the one time now. And you notice pretty quickly he and Gertrude once again connect and start marveling at some of the outside world type things. And you can hear her, saying, "Oh, we're in this big town. Look, there's going to be stuff to explore. This is exciting." And you see, he's like, "Yes, but be careful, though. We don't want to get ahead of ourselves. Let's just take it all in, but let's make sure we're careful." All right, is you guys' plan to head to the High House of Wonders?
I think so, unless anyone else has an idea. Hi, Hal. Hi, Hall.
All right,
High
you guys
House.
make your way through the city, noticing once again a lot of different people kind of darting back and forth. Overall, again, you can see that this area is maybe a bit more worker type of an atmosphere. There's a lot of commoners and people just seem to be laborers in this area. Kind of make your way across and eventually head over towards probably head up to the Gond Gate and pass on through. The guards kind of just take notice of you, looking that you're in pretty well attired and don't look like you're up to any trouble. They seem to have no issue just letting you just pass right on by, and you make your way over to the High House of Wonders.
You almost said high hell, didn't you?
I almost said High Hall because that's what it was in Elturel, right? The High Hall?
Lots of highs.
I think I called it that too.
Right.
Okay, what was the name of the guy that we
Alex.
talked to? Alex, that's it. Thank you.
Yes, indeed. So, yes, as you guys enter, is it your intention to search out for Hallex?
I think so, yes.
Okay, yeah. So you head up to like the reception area, and you can see this little gnomish lady sitting behind the counter. And you see she looks up at you and says, "Hi, welcome to the High House of Wonders. What can I do for you?"
We're looking for Helix. Helix? God, I just wrote it down.
Hallex? Yes. Oh, okay. What do you want Hallex for? I can let him know.
We're investigating the break-in for them. We'd like to talk to him.
Okay. Yeah, just a minute. And you see she hops down, kind of walks over to this area. You hear a door open. You can hear like a little bit of conversation. And shortly later, you do notice Hallex exits from that room. You see he turns and looks towards you, smoothing out the edges of his clothing as he approaches. "Oh, you are back. Welcome. It is good to see you once again. I hope the city has been treating you well."
It's about so-so. We've ran into several monsters and we're just made to look like fools. Quick question. Your device that they broke, that wouldn't have anything to do with constructs or people looking like constructs or constructs becoming people? Any sort? Does that ring any bells?
You notice he kind of maybe pauses for a moment and maybe a little shocked, in fact. And he looks to you and says, "What would make you ask that question? Have you found anything in exploring what exactly occurred?"
A friend who's in this box over here could read minds, and when he read one of these minds back at the long story short, we read a mind that had ones and zeros instead of words.
I think you should come with me. Would you please follow me? And he starts ushering you back to a back room of the High House of Wonders. Do you all follow?
Yes.
All right.
Absolutely.
All right, it takes you to this sort of side door that is opened, and you guys find yourself entering what looks to be a private study. As you all enter and the door is closed, you notice Hallex there at the door, like closes it before you. You can see this high-backed chair right behind this large desk. The high-backed chair is so high, in fact, that you can't tell if someone's actually sitting there or not. And you hear Hallex call out, "Hi, Artificer. I think they have stumbled onto something. Could you explain it to the High Artificer here?" And from the other side, you hear, yes, leave us be. I will get to the bottom of this." And he says, yes, sir. And you hear the door opens once again. You see he looks to you guys and gives you like a curt nod before closing the door. Moments later, you see the chair kind of shake a little bit, And you can see this tall, elderly-looking man suddenly gets to his feet. He turns and looks towards you, and you can see he's wearing this long robe that's kind of like a black and red combination. And he has this absolute massive necklace running down his chest. You can see all these like gears and widgets and little blades and things connected to it that just constantly adorn his entire body. Some of them clinking together as he shakes with movement here. He's got this really eccentric hairstyle too, like almost straight up. And you see he looks towards you and he says, "So, you probably should explain what it is that you have discovered."
To spare our listeners and our players, Leo will explain the exact same thing he just said to Alex when we were out.
And you notice he nods and he says, "Yes, it certainly is interesting development. And you say this was in the sewer tower dungeons. It's a strange spot, but yes. Well, I don't suppose you'd be interested in fulfilling the task for the High House of Wonders."
You mean solving your mystery and that sort of thing? That task?
Well,
Or is there a different one that we missed or I'm not thinking of?
Well, the mystery of who exactly wanted to destroy this, I believe, has just been solved based on that information that you have provided. But the second part is why, and who, and how many. But, well, if you're interested, I can supply some more details. Otherwise, I will have to go to the board and try to recruit some.
I think we're interested.
Yeah,
Somebody-
we're interested. We'll do it.
And you see he raises a hand, and he's got this like little tiny orb that he's just flicking, and it's kind of spinning, almost like a fidget spinner. And you see he looks towards you, and he says, "That's good to hear, then. Well, you see, what it is that you have discovered is that there are a certain group of constructs that when they communicate to one another, there is sort of an invisible field of communication that occurs. And in this area, communication is sent over the air, you might say, and is invisible, inaudible to anybody but other constructs. But if you listen to thoughts, you probably got some what we would call interference, picked this up. So therefore, I suppose, inside of the dungeons there in the sea tower, there is several constructs. We're going to need to see how many and of what types."
I don't suppose you have an easy way to figure that out.
Yeah, because you see, I couldn't detect any magic. We dispelled it. There was no way of detecting it. That was the issue. We knew we were right.
They're not magnetic.
Actually, you were wrong, based on what you explained. This individual person sounds like simply an unpleasant individual, probably aiding the constructs and not even aware that they exist. In fact, you probably want to get back there as soon as possible, because they're obviously up to something. As far as how to determine which is which, usually there's sort of a central control area. It's often hidden to look like some kind of regular object. I don't suppose you saw any objects when you were there that stood out, that seemed out of the ordinary.
There were strange, contraptions inside the room, circular things that looked odd.
Circular things. Explain. How size, shape.
Probably 20 feet in diameter, and I saw it in several rooms. Did you guys notice that when you walked through?
Yeah.
I actually remember that. I thought that was weird.
I'm trying to remember it, but that must have slipped.
All right. I'll allow an intelligence check here. So go ahead and do blind intelligence checks to see if anybody recalls seeing anything out of the ordinary.
Yeah, okay. Oh, shoot. I suck.
Brandel does not recall, and he's definitely blind.
Flash of genius scene, whatever that is.
Okay, well, with that, what I would say here, Leopold, is you recall when you were making your way to see Alan, there was this room opposite of him, And there was a couple of guards in there, and there was a prisoner in the corner cell. And then there was also this large circular object in the lower right corner. While you had seen some little cages and things that you presume are used to hold prisoners in different areas in the room, they were all fairly small. But this particular object was more white or beige in color and kind of stood out from the other pieces of this. And when the High Artificer mentions this certainly sounds like probably what he's referring to.
Oh, shit. I didn't know what those were. All right, what do we need to do?
As that realization dawns upon you, noticing that, this is the object that you were, what he's referring to. Again, maybe it didn't make much sense at the time, but now it sort of solidifies in your head. You realize, again, right where it was at, right across from Alan. And just for reference, I'm going to go ahead and post that to our Discord so you can get an idea of what that actually looked like. That was the room right across from Alan, and there's this circular thing in the lower right corner there. With this solidly in your mind, it sounds like you know where the central area is, and if you guys wish to head back there to take care of this task, you can certainly do so next week. So I guess I'll just ask, is that your plan? Did you guys want to head back in and try to wrap this up?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know how we're going to get in.
That was going to be a second point there, Brandel. Yeah, so feel free to use some time in Discord between this week and next week discussing what your plan is. Obviously, you got a little bit of frayed relations here, perhaps with Alder and especially with Ulvin, but I'm sure you guys are very creative people. You can come up with something. So yeah, good session, everybody. Hope you enjoyed it. Anybody watching along, hope you guys are enjoying some of the roles that we're posting now to chat. It's been a bit more interesting being able to see some of that stuff. So yeah, always good to get a little bit more transparency there. So yeah, we'll see you guys all next week and continue the adventure then.
Great session. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, y'all. Have a
Good
good one.
session, everybody.
Yeah, take care. Good job.